From Keenan Stadium in Chapel Hill, it's time to kick off state championship weekend in the Tar Heel State. What better way than with a couple of battle-tested Class A teams, the Black Knights of Robbinsville. Well, they're likely familiar to you, but they've got a roster of individuals who've never been here. Against an upstart Wilson Prep Tigers squad, you may know them from their basketball prowess, now here for the first time in a football state championship environment. With that, we welcome you to our broadcast. What a weekend it's going to be. You're going to have 8 classifications battling it out for that many state titles across the next 3 days in 3 different locations. We'll hope you join us for all of them, or as many as possible. We're certainly glad you're here with us to get it kicked off alongside my broadcast partner, Eric Gash, Jason Patterson with you. The former Tar Heel in familiar digs here, Eric. Always nice to be in the state championship environment.
For sure, JP, and it all ends today, right? 8 state championships starting out this weekend, championship weekend. Kids have been working hard all summer. They've been going to 7-on-7s. They have been lifting weights. They've been running. They've been doing it all, and it now comes down to this. One champion.
It also comes down to Ironman football. If you like Ironman football, this 1A game is just the game for you. Comes down to playmakers. When you're talking Ironman football, let's go ahead and dive into the individuals we're keeping an eye on in this one. Who do you spotlight here, Eric?
All right, JP, so we're going to look first at Trayvon Usher. This young man here, 624 yards. He is the motor, the machine behind that. 1,800 all-purpose yards. This young man right here he needs to have an R in front of that last name for Rusher because he is indeed a load.
He's a guy we're watching on one side as we flip over to the familiar Black Knights. Who do you highlight here?
Yeah, you're going to look at Isaac T. Sateski. I'm going to get better at that. 21 touchdowns overall, and then you have Luke Lovin. It starts with the quarterback right there. 1,200 yards on the year, 15 touchdowns. Everything runs through him.
All right, we turn our attention now to what this game comes down to. That stands as your Ingles food for thought. Walk us through the keys.
Yeah, for prep, they're going to have to minimize turnovers and control time of possession. And for Robbinsville, the line of scrimmage is key. They're going to have to control that, dominate it up front, and win something on special teams. A splash play on special teams could make the difference, the third phase of football.
That's the third phase of football. It's time to meet the third member of our broadcast team. Let's go field side. Here's Madison Little braving the elements for you this weekend.
Well, thanks, guys. Robbinsville's head coach, Lucas Ford, told me this is the exact moment that his athletes dreamed of as kids. This group of seniors have been playing together since they were 6 years old, but not one of them have made it to a state championship. They all said, though, that growing up playing football in the front yard, this is what that dream looked like, competing for a state title in a Black Knight uniform right here in Keenan Stadium. And yes, that stage brings nerves, and Coach Ford was honest about that, but he says that's how we know they care. He's confident this group is going to settle in, embrace it, and the nerves may even become an advantage as the night goes on. We'll be back with the NCHSAA 1A state title game when we come back right after this.
Storms can come up fast, and your roof is your home's first line of defense. Tip Top Roofing is fully licensed, insured, and trusted by homeowners, HOAs, and real estate professionals. From the smallest repairs to the largest residential replacements, we handle it all, including gutters and siding. As a CertainTeed Select Shingle Master, we offer up to 25 years of workmanship coverage and a lifetime materials warranty. Ask about our senior and veteran discounts and schedule your free inspection today at tiptoproofing.net.
I am so
Why
frustrated.
can no one help me?
Waiting is the worst. I think it's
Healthcare is broken.
At Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina, we get it.
Really?
Really. That's why we're making healthcare better for all. Starting with you. Yes, you, Daryl. We're making plans easier to navigate by putting your benefits, prescriptions, and details all in one place. Convinced?
No. But it's a start.
We'll take it. Blue Cross North Carolina. Making healthcare better for all. Starting with you.
Football state championship time in the old North State. 112 years they've been playing high school football, and 313 playoff games are behind them to reach this point. That's schools across the state of North Carolina. 1A title gets it all started, and we got Wilson Prep and Robbinsville meeting at the middle of the field. One thing we learned this week in preparation for this one, Eric, a great deal of respect between these two teams, these programs, and these coaches' staff. Both of them had tremendous things to say, not only about the way one another approaches their business, but also the schedule they played to get here.
And it's about the kids, JP. They've put the work in. You know, they're student athletes in high school, and, you know, you have to go to class, you have to take your tests, and then you have to go in the weight room and go to practice and memorize your plays and game book. And so both teams have put in so much to culminate right here at the state championship. You know, each community's got to be very proud of.
Well, for these players, it's the first go-round. Robbinsville has all the titles, but they're the first timers here in terms of these kids on the roster, and he's brought his unit here for the very first time. One of the newer entries, one of the newer schools in the state of North Carolina. And Phil Dickens, well, he's hoping to make it a Dickens of a Christmas, right? You hear that terminology a lot. They want to celebrate a state title. You know, he talked about how some of the other athletic teams have set the tone for them, but he's got one thing in mind, and that's turn it into a football power.
That's exactly right. And he said we scheduled one of the toughest schedules in the state to prepare us for this end. And so they've been practicing and working towards that all year. They started out 0-4, but he says, nah, all roads lead to Chapel Hill, and they're excited about it.
Coach Dickens not the only one you're going to hear by that name. Manny Dickens, of course, one of the standout performers on the roster as well. His son, a father-son storyline that we'll get into as this contest rolls along. And you see Robbinsville getting just about ready to go here. Phillips, among others, who's set to try and set the tone for a group that, you know, you think Robbinsville, Eric, they know about titles, the trophy case is filled, but it speaks to something that has been done under a first-year head coach, that they're back here for the first time in a while when you consider nobody on the roster has played for a state title.
It talks about the culture that's been built there in that small mountain community in Robbinsville. They breathe football. They fancy themselves as title town as well. And they grow up thinking of playing right here in Chapel Hill for that state championship. And so it's culminated right here once again for Coach Ford. He said these group of young men have been a great group to coach, a joy to coach, he actually used. So it's going to come right now, JP.
He played there. He coached there for a long time before he became the head coach. This is his first season in that spot, and he brings them back to a title opportunity. Here is our Original Grills kickoff. Elevate your grill game at Original Grills. And this is the Original Grills kickoff for the entirety of the state championship weekend. Again, 3 venues, 3 days, 8 champions will be crowned. We're happy to have you with us in the Old North State for our little pigskin. From Carolina, it all gets started, and a return to the 45 is about all. Go ahead and walk us through what we can expect to see from this young quarterback and the surrounding cast. What do you see offensively from Robbinsville?
Yeah, they are going to try and pound the football. You know, Luke Lovin, he has 1,200 yards passing, 6 rushing touchdowns. And, you know, they run the power I and variations from that. They're going to run ISO power. You know, he's under center right here in the trips look. And, yeah, we're expecting them to match the moment, JP.
Well, first down carry matches the moment up across that Tar Heel logo and into Wilson Prep territory with the initial carry. That's the kind of first down gain you'll take all afternoon long. Here's a look at our starting lineups first for Robbinsville.
Yeah, and you see, once again, quarterback Luke Lovin, he's going to get everything started. And, you know, that offensive line, I'm going to highlight those fellas on both sides of the ball because it is Ironman football. But whoever wins the line of scrimmage is going to dominate this game, JP.
Yeah, there's a look at the entire surrounding cast for Lovin. You were talking about a moment ago. Number of different playmakers they can utilize as you get a look at the Affordable Dentures and Implants starting lineup. Use your 2025 dental benefits now to get the smile you deserve. Visit affordabledentures.com for the practice near you. Those are Affordable Dentures and Implants starting lineups. We look at the defense momentarily. They try to come up big on a 3rd down, and they do. Wilson Prep standing tall on 3rd and short. And there's a 4th down decision coming just across the 50 for Robbinsville. Here is a look at the defensive alignment for Wilson Prep.
Yeah, so I like to look at number 54, Kennedy. He's a freshman. 78 tackles, 12 sacks. This is a stingy defense, JP. 58 tackles for loss, 22 sacks, and 18 interceptions. They're going to have to play sound, gap-sound defense and dominate that line of scrimmage in order to combat against these Black Knights.
Once again, all our starting lineups brought to you by Affordable Dentures and Implants. Early test for this defense, and the football pops out, but it pops right up into the grasp of Lovin, who carries it forward. And sometimes, what do they say? It's better to be
lucky than good, JP. And you see this right here. It's just going to be a quick fullback trap, fullback dive, and he just missed it. But once again, the bounce of the ball bounced right to him, and it's going to take bounces like that. In a game like this today, because emotions are high, you know, you have to control that adrenaline. And, yeah, you got to get the lucky bounce of the ball.
Tip Top Roofing first down, our initial of the contest, and that will set them up at the 43-yard line. This is back about the line of scrimmage, and that's all. Tip Top Roofing is a sponsor of our first downs in this opening quarter. Faith, family, football, and roofing. Doesn't get any simpler than that. That's Tip Top Roofing. Here's another look at the first down.
Yeah,
play.
so they're just trying to run a sweep there. And once again, team speed. Wilson Prep, that's number 8, Whitaker. He has 6 interceptions and 26 tackles. Now make it 27 tackles, JP. They hunt and seek the football.
Keeping in the interior, and some space made by the big guys up front to take it inside the 40 to the 38-yard line. We're going to call his name early and often in this one. Isaac Tesateski is a special player.
Yeah, he's hitting it just, you know, just a quick trap. It's like a flanker sweep, almost inside sweep. And, yeah, we're going to see a lot of him. 21 total touchdowns, over 1,000 all-purpose yards.
Yeah, he is the main engine making that Robbinsville offense go. A little swing out far side. That's into the flats, and it's going to be short of the first down. So after a 4th down conversion a moment ago, another is coming following the completion to Brenton Gibby, and the defense is at least making it difficult, each of these movements of the chains for Robbinsville right now. Wilson Prep has been impressive, and they're trying to get off the field. Another 4th and 2 here.
Yeah, I can tell you what, you know, that may be part of the game plan for Robbinsville, is just to ground and pound. Take time. You don't have to rush, but control the football is going to keep the ball out of the hands of Wilson Prep, who, you know, can score a lot of points.
There's another 4th down, converted on the other. Remember, the ball hopped up into his grasp a moment ago. They won't have the result they hoped here. Wilson Prep able to come away with the turnover on downs, and it is that Wilson Prep D that has the very first impact moment of the contest. Here's the stop.
Yeah, you see reading and reacting. That's linebacker number 4, Nelson, 120 tackles on the year. He leads that defense.
At Wells Fargo, we believe that doing can make a difference. That's why we've donated over $2 billion to strengthen local communities over the last 5 years. From over $745 million to help address housing access and affordability, to roughly $420 million to help small business owners through nonprofits, to over $55 million to support scholarships and programming for students. Because doing gets it done.
Well, his Wilson Prep squad getting off the field. They forced a couple of 4th downs. Second one turned out to be the charm. You know, Eric, this has been an impressive season, and some were wondering maybe at the early stages how it was going to go. This team lost their first 4 games of the year. But what has happened here with this group, the way they have grown up, the moment they have embraced, it has led them all the way to a first state championship opportunity. And the first play from scrimmage is going to be one they'll remember. Up across the 50 and into Robbinsville territory. Could not ask for a better start than they just secured right there.
Yeah, that's Trayvon Usher. Once again, it should be an R in front of that name. This young man He's the engine behind that offense. Look, he's shedding one tackle, and he's getting down that sideline, and he breaks through two. Those yards after contact is huge.
First play from scrimmage for Wilson Prep, and they're just like that on the 30-yard line of the Black Knights. And Usher stays right back there waiting for the snap again, and he'll take it directly as he works himself inside the 30 to about the 28. Well, you have already been introduced amply to Trayvon Usher. How about the surrounding cast? Here's the starting lineup for Wilson Prep.
Yeah, I'm going to say something, JP. Of all the teams that I've seen so far, this is the biggest offensive line in the state championships. They average 284 pounds, man, and they lean on you. And that's why Trayvon Usher has been getting so many yards.
They make the space. The Affordable Dentures and Implants starting lineup offensively for Wilson Prep. We'll have a look at the Robbinsville D for you momentarily as well. And they have their work cut out for them on this opening drive for the Tigers. And big time lick. How about the job to get the penetration there and meet him right away? And you can tell he's enjoying it.
Boy, I tell you, that's number 42, Waldrop. When you talk about read and react, he gets to the spot, and that's what they're going to have to do on defense. They're going to have to rally to the football and gang tackle because the team speed on Wilson Prep is tremendous, and they are going to have to dominate. They are stingy defense as well, JP. 82 tackles for loss, 20 sacks, 15 takeaways.
The big lick from Waldrop making it 3rd down and 10 as they're right back where the sticks had placed them following the long initial run from Usher. A lot of movement up on that front. Robbinsville adjusting accordingly. And that's out in the flat, trying to make a man miss, but there are too many black jerseys there. And it's going to be 4th down and about 6. Same guy, second verse.
Yeah, we're seeing the DNA of both of these teams. It's like a heavyweight bout. Who's going to be the first one to flinch?
Here's a look at the Robbinsville defense. Who else are you highlighting?
Yeah, I'm looking at number 42, that middle linebacker, Waldrop. He's a senior. He's got 96 tackles, almost 100. I'm sure he'll have well over 100 by the end of this game, but he gets them lined up, and he is a Scud missile towards that football.
Those are Affordable Dentures and Implants starting lineups. Use your 2025 dental benefits now. Get the smile you deserve. Well, this is a 4th down the other way. Usher decides to tuck it. Does he have enough room? They close the gap just before he can get the sticks. He stretched the football out, but he appears to be just shy, and Robbinsville has returned the favor.
Oh my, defensive struggle. This defense only gives up on average 13 points per game, and you can see that team pursuit, they get to the football, JP, and that's what it's going to take if they want to win this football game.
Well, that looked to be Kazik Tessiteski there. Yeah. We said we're working hard. We're going to get that right before the day is done. But Tessiteri, he is right where he needed to be, and it goes back to that Ironman football we were talking about just a moment ago, and it gives Robbinsville the football back up across the 24 to the 25-yard line. Well, what does it tell you that we get the 2 stops just as both teams were driving into their opponent's territory?
I think what it is, JP, is, you're going to run things to set up for something later on in the game. And so, you're going to have your first maybe 10, 12 plays scripted. And so you're going to run them, and you're going to have your coaches up in the press box checking out what the defense is doing and seeing if they're over-pursuing, what keys they're reading to set up for something later in the game.
They use Gibby here. They kind of are going to use Tessiteski as more of a decoy this time around. Tried something up closer to the line of scrimmage, but a flag comes in. That'll need to be sorted out from the far side at around the 23.
Offense. Repeat, 2nd down.
Back Robbinsville up just a bit. Both teams with an offensive spark. Robbinsville immediately moved into Wilson Prep territory. Tigers had the long run from Usher and looked to be in business in Robbinsville territory, and now we settle in a little bit at the 5-minute mark, with both defenses having had their say. Throwing back across his body, and guess who? He has it at the 40. He's up across midfield, and finally driven out of bounds at the 31-yard line. Tessiteski again. You'll say it enough that you'll get it right. He's once more the consequential playmaker for Robbinsville.
Once again, JP, they've been setting this play up, and they give him a little fake, and they get him on the wheel route backside, which means he's going to be matched up probably with a linebacker, maybe outside linebacker. Flow goes the opposite way, and they throw it backside. Great play call.
For all the talk about the running game, variety of ways you can use these playmakers, as we're reminded right there with the Tip Top Roofing first down.
That's exactly right. Lovin has 1,200 yards passing on the year with 15 passing touchdowns.
Now Lovin going to call his own number. He sees plenty of real estate far side, and that's good for about 5 on first down. Let's go downfield side for a little more on number 5. Madison?
Well, guys, he was the center for this team last season because that is what this roster needed, and all season long he asked the coaching staff, the rock. When Coach Ford took over and reassessed personnel, he sat Kaisik down and said, you want to tote the rock, you got to prove it. Kaisik worked hard, even improved in the classroom, and now a key piece like we've seen so far of this run game.
Well, Kaisik Tisateski making his presence known here in the state championship environment. Thanks, Madison. And Eric, one thing you learn from a story like that is here's a guy who you like to see the success coming his way because he's been willing to do whatever's necessary to help his team.
And, you know, and Coach Ford talked about this earlier. These kids are a joy to coach. When you have the attitude, Coach, I don't care what it takes. You put me where you think you need me the most is going to help the team. That's a championship attitude, and that's a testament to the coach, not just to those kids and the coach, but that community as well.
Guess who's back? You saw the coaching staff for Robbinsville, so many of those who were born and bred there, including the guy who's at the helm of this program, and it means so much to them being back in a state championship environment, the passion of trying to get the job done here. They and their community celebrate the latest of the Tip Top Roofing first downs. Tip Top Roofing, faith, family, football, and roofing like clockwork. Here's another movement of the chains.
Yeah, there you go. Just that little ISO there. You have Collins, you know, with the dive. Looks like we got Tisateski being helped off the field.
This is the last thing you want to see right now if you're wearing those Black Knights colors. As Tisateski tried to take a few steps just past the hashes and eventually hit the deck. We will break away. Hope to have some good news to pass along regarding number 5 on the other side of the break.
Belief isn't just a feeling, it's a force. A force that turns underdogs into champions, struggle into strength, and concepts into companies. A Legacy and Wake Forest University are proud to partner because we share a truth that belief in people yields the highest returns. Together, we're investing in every dream, every goal, every tomorrow. This is our home. Let's believe.
Everybody coming from the western part of the state taking a deep breath right now, and regardless of what colors you're wearing or what glasses you're looking at this one through, everybody hoping number 5 gets to be back in this one. He's one of the key playmakers and contributors. Had the big play that put Robbinsville in striking distance here, but he just left a bit injured. We'll check in with Madison, I'm sure, in a bit, see what we can find out. But right now, the Black Knights, Eric, having to do it without one of their key performers as they go to work inside the red zone.
Yeah, and that's tough, especially when you're playing Ironman football and one kid, you lose one kid, and you could lose, you know, multiple positions, you know, on both sides of the ball, not even talking about special teams, you know, kickoff, return, punt return, and things like that. So we're hoping that he's okay.
Yeah, you're talking about the heart of that gentleman, the head coach of Robbinsville.
Wilson Prep.
The heart of that gentleman's crew. Wilson Prep wanting to talk it over. Coach Dickens calling his troops to the far side. You know, this is the first red zone opportunity we've seen on either side. Our Air Experts heating and cooling red zone chance. Air Experts, schedule your tune-up today at airexperts.com. A key moment after you consider the way both defenses set the tone early. This is a real scoring opportunity for Robbinsville. Wilson Prep says, let's talk about it a bit.
Yeah, and you have to, because, you know, both of these defenses are stingy defenses, but just kind of crunching the numbers here, Wilson Prep gives up 25 points a game. Robbinsville only gives up 13. So Robbinsville wins that battle, the stat battle, let's say. And so, you know, they're hoping to capitalize right here. And, you know, for folks in Western North Carolina, you know, they're praying hard for Robbinsville right now.
Yeah, certainly. There was a big lick on the ball carrier and out of bounds just beyond the 20-yard line. That's about all that's there. As Cameron Allison is run out of bounds here. We mentioned Ironman football, right? So you see Usher on the defensive side trying to take care of business for Wilson Prep, and he does. And this is a good sign for the Knights. There's at least some movement, some pressure being put on that right leg by big number 5.
Yeah, you hate to see that, JP, but yeah, he's up and he's moving. That's a good sign. And you know, with all of his might, that young man wants to get in this football game today.
Yeah, Tieseteski, who, if you just stepped away a moment ago, had the big play, the major reception that worked it down into the red zone. Now they're on the doorstep of it after being pushed back to third down from behind the sticks. And before 3 can do anything with it, whistles. The clock stopped with 2:28 to go in the opening period in what has been a defensive battle thus far.
Yeah, just as expected, JP. You probably won't see a lot of flags in this game because both of these teams are well disciplined. They play hard, play between the whistles, and they do the right thing. You know, from the defensive side, you got Wilson Prep, who's going to, you know, read their keys and stay home.
Delay a game. Offense.
And there you go. There's a flag, delay a game. That's the second one, I believe, on Robbinsville. And once again, you won't see a whole lot of that, but you get adrenaline, you get emotions, and sometimes you can just kind of get ahead of yourself.
Now has Robbinsville way behind the sticks. This is third down, and they need the 8-yard line to move the chains. They would roll into the far side. Slings it downfield, but it is in and out of the hands of his intended target there. Going to be fourth down in a while here. Again, they've got to make the 8-yard line if the chains are going to be moved, and Robbinsville having to do all of this without their key contributor out there, as Tieseteski has been injured here. And the fourth down play coming that's going to determine this drive. And now a timeout being taken by Robbinsville. Gives us a chance to check in field side with Madison for a little more on the status of Tieseteski. Madison?
Well, you guys said it is up and walking, but there's a new brace on that right knee, and he's definitely very frustrated, definitely in a lot of pain, but he did ask his coach, can I go back in? But now just trying to put some pressure on it, maybe start to jog a little bit here in a second, but I'll keep you updated as I learn more.
Thanks, Madison. We appreciate it. Eric, you can see him doing everything in his power to will himself back into the game.
Yeah, and you know what, JP, sometimes this is where a coach has to protect the kid against himself. If he's not 100% ready to go, I can't see, you know, Coach Ford putting him back in there because he cares about them. These are his kids, right? And if he's not 100% can't go, he's not going to let him.
Goes back to that family atmosphere. What did Coach Ford say to us this week? He said, this has been about trying to reestablish, continue, build upon the family atmosphere that has always existed at Robbinsville. He said they've been eating together, different homes all across town, making sure they spend that quality time together. He said, of course, we've been in the weight room a little heavier because we've been eating together. It's that time in the weight room that's going to pay off right here. Major fourth down coming. Can they find some room? Need the 8-yard line to avoid being turned aside on fourth down again. Lovin comes this way. He's going to throw toward the end zone, and that is caught at around the 5-yard line. Good enough for a first down. Coming back to the football and helping his QB out, Eli Lamont. What a time for the 10th grader to get the job done. Now there is a flag down, and it appears as if this is coming back.
Oh, wow. You hate to see that, JP. And I'm sorry, it's the announcer's curse. I'm talking about, you know, no penalties and flags and things like that, and here we go. But, you know, you just see him scrambling a little bit. And it seems that, you know, maybe one of the receivers was covered up that's going down the field. You don't know.
4th and 22. It appeared as if the conversion was made. And that penalty flag negating a tremendous adjustment by Lambert there, who came back to the football and gave his quarterback a chance.
Yeah, that would have been huge, JP, for that completion to happen, or that fourth down conversion. But here we go again.
Deciding to run with it himself and finally making it to about the 16-yard line. That is all, and that is where Wilson Prep will take over. So another turnover on downs. This is beginning to be a theme in this contest.
Yeah.
Lovin saw some space to grab out there, but not near enough for the first down. And you tip your cap to this Wilson Prep D once again.
That's right, man. The philosophy is bend but don't break, and you see the big fella, number 65, that's Cameron Best, chasing him down. And guess what? Number 65, Wilson Prep, doesn't get a chance to come off the field, JP, because he turns right around and he's on that offensive line. And so that's what we talk about Ironman football. Your endurance is up, your toughness is up, and you don't want to come out of a football game like this.
If you like playing the game, Class A is a classification for you, because you get to be involved in every snap if you so choose.
That's right.
Inside 2 minutes to go in the opening period, and these defenses have been trading blows thus far. And Usher, who ran it down into Robbinsville territory on the previous drive, has been taking these direct snaps. And in this case, he loses his footing before he can get to the 20-yard line. He's down at the 18. That's still falling forward for a couple, and it's second and about 7. They're going to say he worked his way for a gain of 3 officially, so it does make it second and 7. A little more than a couple falling forward. Going to go to the left side this time. Robbinsville was waiting. He won't get back to that line of scrimmage. Third down coming just that quickly.
Yeah, and JP, once again, for Robbinsville, it's going to be that just trying to control the line of scrimmage and dominate on defense, but fly to the football. Watch the flow. There's one right there, and you see all those silver hats, and they're just coming, JP, because that's what it's going to take. You know, Wilson Prep has only thrown 71 passes coming into this game, so you know that they want to run the football.
A team that is 4 years old, all 4 years, Phil Dickens has been at the helm of this program. 39-12, 25-2 in the conference, and he has them in the state championship environment for the very first time. Of course, this obviously the first ever meeting between these two on the gridiron. It comes in a high-stakes environment. As you look at the head coach of the Tigers, what can you say about the job he has done? 4 years already in the state championship scenario.
Yeah, and JP, their record was 8-5 this year, and that record is deceiving, right? Because they lost those first 4, but they lost them to some pretty stout teams. And he just said, stay the course. He said, we want to play this schedule because it's going to mimic a 3rd, 4th round game, even a state championship game. So you're going to play teams that are bigger, maybe faster and stronger, from bigger schools, because it's going to prepare you for times like that.
They lost 5 out of the first 6. They have not lost since the calendar turned over to the month of October.
There you go.
Speaks to the run this team is on, that they find their way into the Class A title game. Inside the final minute of the opening period, and a 3rd down 8 coming your way. They need the 25-yard line. Backfield slam full here. And Usher going to toss this. Initially, there's no room, and they close off all rushing lanes. What a job by the Robbinsville D. There is a flag that comes down at the very end of this.
So, JP, I want you to look at the pursuit to the football, right? They rally to the football, and it had to be a cry all week, is rally to that football.
This penalty is against Wilson Prep, and you know what that means. Likely going to be kicking it away. One more look at the play and the Robbinsville pursuit.
Low end around, look at that. You have 5 hats right there. There's nowhere to go. And look, the rest of the team is getting there. And I love a game like this because I'm a defensive guy, and we used to have what we call a roll call. And every time somebody got to the ball, it's Gash here, Patterson here. We wanted to make sure we got in that last frame before the ref called the ball down.
You're listening to the former linebacker who, on this field, made a name for himself in big-time college football, the former North Carolina Tar Heel, Eric Gash, with you today. Glad to be alongside Eric. Jason Patterson with you as well. You're hearing from Madison Little down on the field, who's making sure she keeps you caught up on all the key storylines in this one. We've nearly got the first quarter behind us. And nothing on the board either way. Just able to sneak that out of there. Talk about a catch-your-breath moment for Wilson Prep, and this will be blown dead at the 45-yard line of Robbinsville, just across the 50 at that Tar Heel logo. Let's talk about it, because you've been in the state championship environments. You did it from a basketball standpoint right here on this campus. You did it from a family standpoint with your brother. We got some family connections, father-son stuff going on here. These truly are the memories that last a lifetime.
They certainly do, JP. You remember the bus ride. You remember what you had to eat. You remember, you know, if you stayed in a hotel, what movie you watched the night before. You remember every single thing for the rest of your life. You'll remember these things.
Who's going to remember a championship moment? We are nearly a quarter gone, and this one's still very much up for grabs. Robbinsville goes to work with 6 seconds left in the opening period. This will take us into the second, and it will take the Black Knights of Robbinsville into Wilson Prep territory. They'll have it second down and around 4 to go from just inside Tigers territory when you return to Chapel Hill as the second quarter begins in a moment.
Robert, go for more.
Hey! Hurt in the car wreck? Don't go up against the insurance company alone. Let the heavy hitters do it for you. Call 800-LAW-0804, and we'll go after all the money they should be paying you. Stay out of the courtroom and get into the end zone.
Call the heavy hitters. We're attorneys Tatum and Atkinson.
Call the heavy hitters. They'll work to get you more. 1-800-LAW-0804.
Have you been quoted for trench drain system to fix water intrusion? Before you compromise your foundation, talk to Foundation Solutions. We provide a more efficient, more cost-effective way to keep your basement dry. With 30 years of experience in Western North Carolina, we bring guaranteed work, financing options, and real peace of mind. Visit foundationswnc.com or call 828-768-2208.
NCHSAA football state championship merchandise.
Class A title game in the Old North State. Pleasure to welcome you back to Chapel Hill. Our broadcast presented by Affordable Dentures and Implants. We'll have all the state championship games across North Carolina coming your way across the Carolinas and beyond on Sinclair's family of networks. Check your local listings for the broadcast station of each of these games in your area. Well, they flip sides and Robbinsville goes to work. Crew out of Smoky Mountain Conference. Robbinsville listed population 597. A team that came in 8-1 at home, 2-2 on the road, 10-3 overall. Looking to take the reins here in the early second quarter. 3rd down and 1. That's 1, and then some. Move the chains. That's a 1st down.
Yep, you have Benton Gibby right there. Young fella, looks like he's a sophomore, 5'7". He is going to be the workhorse now. Just a little quick dive off tackle, a little trap there. Trap number 79. That was a good block by number 7, Collins there to free him up to get that 1 yard.
Here's our initial Tatum and Atkinson 1st down of the second quarter. Tatum and Atkinson, the heavy hitters. Well, this one so far has been marked by the heavy hitters. If fans are just finding us and just kind of wading their way into the championship environment, this has kind of been a story. A flag here, a flag there as we await the call.
Encroachment, defense, 5-yard penalty. Big first down.
But perhaps the headline to this point, Eric, has been the defenses have bent, but nobody has broken. They've stiffened their necks, and turnovers on downs have been really the order of the day thus far.
Yeah, it certainly has. And you know, as you'll probably see and understand, you know, 1A, 2A small, you know, Ironman football, special teams may not, you know, always be your strong point. But look at Bibby right there. Oh, the ball pops out. It looks like
Wilson Prep is saying they have it.
Wow.
And we're waiting for an official signal. The Tigers do. Well, on cue, the defense has a takeaway of a different variety.
Yeah, there you go, JP. And they hit. I mean, this is time. You know, they play sound gap control football, and they rally to the ball as well, does Wilson Prep, and it turned over.
Well, coming out of there with the football was Tycon Whitaker. Let's see who knocked this loose. It was Tyquan Whitaker who ended up with the football in his hands.
Yep, looks like number 1 there.
Yeah, the good work to bust that out, though. You called it.
Nazir Vines.
Mr. Vines getting the job done. And speaking of Vines and speaking of Ironman football, he now goes to work offensively.
That's right. He just simply changed his sides. You know, changed his mentality, I guess. One from stopping the run to now making the run there. Good call.
Vines making his mark on this contest. And that one likely left a mark as the first real turnover of the game is in effect. We talked about the turnovers on downs with the 4th down stops that both teams have accumulated here and there. But let's see what the Tigers can do with the first true takeaway. Robbinsville's defense allowing very little here, and it's going to be 3rd and 5.
Yeah, I love it. They're reading the keys, you know, on both sides of the ball. But you have Buchanan there, number 55, that end. He's just simply squeezing down, and he's going to keep his eyes right there on the ball. Yeah, and JP, in a game like today, in a game like this, you don't want to get your eyes, you know, chasing too many of the rabbits, I should say. Just follow your gap.
That's good advice for football. That's good advice for life. Here comes a rush near side, up across the 35, and driven out at around the 40-yard line. That's going to be enough for a Tatum and Atkinson first down. You can move the chains. Well, I spoke perhaps too soon. A flag is down again at the 32-yard line. Before all is said and done, we're going to be looking at one of the most famous men in the state of North Carolina. Because the official's getting a great deal of face time here with some of those miscues. To what do you attribute, Eric, all joking aside, to what do you attribute some of these miscues we're seeing early on from these two teams with so many of the flags we've experienced?
Yeah, JP, it could be a little bit of anything. I mean, you know, you get out of position. You know, this is the state championship. So these teams here, both from the West and from the East, and so you're going to get the best of the best right here. And so some of those blocks that you may be able to make, you know, in the earlier rounds, guess what? Now you're going to find yourself having to work a little bit harder to get them.
Well, and the other thing, there is that desire sometimes to try to do just a little bit too much because of the stage, because of the situation, because this is it, what you've worked for all season long, and sometimes that'll translate into a flag or two. This is a little too tall and incomplete. So 4th down from behind the sticks. It appears as if the Tigers will be turned aside following the takeaway.
Yeah, now, if they are going to punt, which I highly think that they may, JP, on this 4th and, 15, Robbinsville came very close to blocking that punt. And, you know, we talked about in the pregame, they're going to have to make some splash plays on special teams. And if they were to get their hands on this, it'll put them in excellent field position.
So the crew out of Eastern Carolina Conference. Population 47,000 there in Wilson. Of course, this Wilson Prep, a school 4 years into its athletic tenure. Set to kick it away. They will. Fair caught at the 49, and Robbinsville will have it slightly on the Black Knights side of the 50 in a scoreless contest mid-second. When you return, our broadcast presented by Affordable Dentures and Implants continues in just a moment.
Life can be tough. The daily grind, the pressures, the uncertainties, it all adds up. Let's be open and honest about our mental health. Let's support each other when we're hurting. because it's okay not to be okay.
Tonight's high-end zone views of the game are compliments of First Source Equipment Rentals and Sales in Mebane and Burlington. First Source Rentals, reliable, safe equipment rentals in Alamance County.
Well, a reminder, you want to stick around at the intermission. We will have the halftime report coming your way. And our interview with Commissioner Q. Tucker, North Carolina High School Athletic Association, first half highlights, all that and a whole lot more coming your way as part of the Foundation Solutions halftime report. We appreciate our friends at Foundation Solutions for sponsoring each of the halftime reports in this weekend's state championship games. Well, Robbinsville turned it over in Wilson Prep territory. The defense holds, they get it back.
False start. Offense.
And after this false start, we'll back them up just a bit. Coach Ford's team set to go to work. Got to ask you, now you've had a few series, Eric, on both sides of these coaching staffs to kind of see what your opponent is doing, what adjustments can be made at this point.
Yeah, you know, for Robbinsville, you know, having their workhorse out, you know, they're going to have to change up a little bit. It looks like they're in some passing formations a little bit more. And so maybe they didn't plan for that. You know what I mean? And so, you know, we had a false start again here on Robbinsville. And so,
false start. Offense. Complete first down.
New personnel groupings, and as I mentioned a little bit earlier, our officials getting more famous by the moment with all of the miscues that have been a part of it. But what Eric was referencing, of course, the key contributor, the guy who wears jersey number 5, Kaisik Tisateski, going out after one of the biggest plays of this state championship game so far, and he has remained sidelined. You look at his ability to come back at whatever point that may be the case. Until then, Robbinsville trying to find some other solutions right now.
Yeah, you've had him all year. He's been the workhorse. He has, you know, 21 touchdowns, over 1,000 yards, all-purpose yards. And so you're going to have to make an adjustment, not just physically and your game plan, but mentally you're going to have to adjust around that if you're the other players.
They roll out on second down and long, coming back across the field, and that's going to be caught. That's a first down, and then some to the 35. And Robbinsville finding a way, securing some new solutions to move the chains. You know, you have to find a way, and here once again they do.
Yeah, it was just a wheel route. Once again, you get flow going the opposite way. Good throw by the quarterback Lovin there, and he's wide open. Had he let him, it may be 6.
And Allison again, a name we've called time and again. And look at the move he makes here. Trying to find a little more. He does have a first down at the 35. Of course, Robbinsville continuing to go to work, following the Tatum and Atkinson first down. Cameron Allison also does some good work in the secondary. There you go. Speaking of good work, running them over. Number 7 trying to step up where number 5 has been lost for a while here.
There you go, that's Collins. Just a little quick fullback dive right up the middle. Once again, it's the same action, right, to where they had Gibby, you know, on that little round or that power play, just that quick fullback hit up the middle with Isaac.
Isaac Collins right up the gut and continuing to push the pile here inside the 10. Robbinsville looking to make the best of what's going to be a solid red zone opportunity here.
There you go. This is just bully ball right here. They're saying, hey, our guys up front against your guys up front is controlling that line of scrimmage, and they are mashing them right now.
The Air Experts heating and cooling red zone in effect again. Air Experts. Schedule your tune-up today at airexperts.com. The ball rests on the 9-yard line.
Big play right here, third time they're running that same play, JP.
Right up the right hash and down around the 5.
I love it. If it's working, keep it going. In other words, what's the old saying? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Why not? It's what got you here. It's going to keep you here.
Robbinsville looking to use that philosophy for first points in the contest, trying to break a scoreless tie. It's 7:42 to go in the opening half. After direct instructions from his coach, Coach Ford. Lovin back out there as he comes up to the line of scrimmage. And coming out of there, it would seem, with the football is Wilson. Have they taken it away again?
Another fumble. Wow. Yep.
Have they taken it away again? The second time deep, this time deeper into Wilson Prep territory. The Tigers come away with a takeaway.
And that's freshman candidate. Just ran a little wide trap there and just put his hat right on the football. And there's a big fella rumbling, bumbling. He's like, get out of my way. He thinks he's Derrick Henry right now. He is living his moment. That was a great play by the young freshman candidate.
Hard to believe when you take a glance at him that this is simply his freshman campaign. But he received great praise from the coaching staff this week for what he's done all across the course of the season, and boy, does he have a state championship moment to go with it now.
And I guarantee you, JP, by the time he's my age, that was a 95-yard touchdown, and he stiff-armed 12 people on the field.
Well, he ran a while. It'll be, as you said, it'll continue to grow.
It'll continue to grow. That's right.
Tigers up across the 20-yard line. Boy, those are two opportunities in recent moments for Robbinsville where Wilson Prep has found a way to just erase anything from the scoreboard potentially.
Yeah, that was tough. They're playing sound defense and putting a hat on the football, and that's championship football.
25-yard line, that's about all. Third down and a long 4 coming. Defensive moments, including 2 turnovers forced by his crew thus far, have been the storyline.
I love it, JP. It's like a heavyweight bout. Just taking blow after blow. I mean, one team is getting down inside the red zone, and the defense comes up big. I absolutely love it from a defensive perspective. It's rallying to the football and putting that hat on the ball.
Well, and you begin to wonder how many premier offensive opportunities will there be in this game. Got to take advantage of them when they arise. First things first, a flag on this play.
Dead ball. Encroachment. Defense.
So you get the
Penalty results in the first down.
encroachment call on the defense that works it beyond the sticks, and that's going to be a Tatum and Atkinson first down for Wilson Prep. Tigers, plenty of options in that backfield, and it's going to be smothered up. Robbinsville read it right away.
I love the big fellas. That's number 76 right there. Who is that? Daniels, I love, watch the pursuit down the line, JP, and he gets there and he made his presence known. Look at him, big fella flexing. I absolutely love it.
Well, it's second down. They find themselves behind the sticks again. It's as if they ordered this one up for it. Nothing but defensive moments to this point.
I love it. I love seeing the big fellas get excited, man. He's flexing. He thinks he's, I don't know, Stone Cold, Steve Austin, somebody out there is just flexing. I love it.
Well, it's a state championship environment. Doesn't happen every day. Make the best of it when you're in it. And here, speaking of offensive moments being few and far between, is one. But there is a flag down, as you might expect, around the 27-yard line on the other side of the field. Just about the time. And you see the body language telling you everything you need to know. As Usher got up, he looked back downfield and saw that it's likely coming back.
It's coming back like it's holding, yep, on the offense.
The two guys wearing jersey number 5, one which we were without at the moment, Tisa Teske.
Offense. 10-yard penalty. He picked it down.
This one, Usher, who has made his mark on this game, has had the premier plays in this contest. This one negated by the flag, and we got a player down as well. It's one of those down being tended to there. We'll take a break while the training staff comes out. Hopefully come back with good news on the injured Wilson Prep Tiger in a moment. Our Class A state title game broadcast presented by Affordable Dentures and Implants continues from Chapel Hill in just a moment. Well, you want to stick around. At the conclusion of this one, we'll be selecting the Affordable Dentures and Implants Player of the Game. Use your 2025 dental benefits now to get the smile you deserve. Visit affordabledentures.com for the practice near you. That's our Affordable Dentures and Implants Player of the Game. We welcome you back to our broadcast presented by Affordable Dentures and Implants. We're into the second quarter. And offense has been hard to come by. Here's some, though. And plenty of it. Loose down the far side, making a cut midfield. And you're wondering about it, so we can tell you there are no flags as rumbling all the way inside the 10-yard line. We've called his name time and time again, Eric.
Ethan Nelson, there he is, 1,100 yards on the year, 21 rushing touchdowns, and away he goes. And, you know, he's like, hey, I got to get there. But you notice the pursuit of that Robbinsville defense, and there he is, number 3, Luke Lovin, who's a quarterback as well as a safety. He makes that touchdown-saving tackle.
Ethan Nelson, an all-conference performer, 4th year on varsity, that many years in the history of the program. And this group, 4 years old, has it go right back to number 4. And Nelson this time is covered up right at the 10-yard line.
And there's another flag down. It looks like, Nelson moved a little bit early on the snap.
Tigers just glad it wasn't on the previous
Dead
play.
ball. False start. Offense.
Yeah, he was leaning a little bit, JP. He's getting a little excited there.
Tigers just glad it wasn't on the previous play because it seemed like there for a while we had a trend of every positive play with a game. Yeah. There was something to bring it back. So they do set up shop in the red zone here. And now a first down goal from the 15 after the penalty is the order of the moment for Wilson Prep. Back to Usher. He gets to the 10, that's about all.
Yep.
Snags those yards that initially were theirs back. It's going to be second down and goal from the 10. A reminder, all these opportunities like the one you're witnessing right now in the red zone brought to you by Air Experts Heating and Cooling. Air Experts, schedule your tune-up today at airexperts.com, sponsors of our red zone. Well, we've been teased before in terms of red zone chances with no scoring. Now, a defensive guy like yourself would say that's no tease at all. The defenses have stiffened their necks.
That's right.
Will Robbinsville do that here, or will the Tigers score the first points in their state championship history? Clock winding toward 3:45 to go in the half. Ahead of second and goal. Usher met at the 9. Third down coming.
Yeah, the closer you get to the goal line, the harder it gets from an offensive perspective. Defensively, I love it because it shrinks the field, right? And so here we go. You can put everybody in the box. And there he is, right downhill, number 42, once again for Robbinsville, senior linebacker Waldrop. It's probably over 100 tackles now.
That's who you highlighted at the start when we looked at this defense for Robbinsville. He has risen to the occasion once more. 3rd down, goal to go from the 9. This is going to take us inside 3 minutes remaining in a scoreless opening half. Usher throws it up top. It was going to be Usher to Nelson, the 2 playmakers, but it's got just a little bit too much air underneath it. 4th down.
Yeah, once again, JP, they've only thrown 71 passes coming into this game all year, right? And so that's kind of outside their comfort zone, right? Because, you know, they've been able to pound the football, but Robbinsville, this defense is bending but not breaking, and they're going to have to go back to the drawing board and see what these offensive coaches can draw up to get in the end zone.
Not a bad design by his crew there. Caught many in the building off guard, but just could not quite make the connection. Here's the 4th down and goal. Will there be scoring? Or will the trend continue of defense owning the day?
We may have to call a timeout. Play clock is down.
Play clock all the way down.
Dead ball. Delay of game. Offense.
And they did not utilize the timeout. It'll back the offense up. The delay call. 14-yard line now. It's a goal to go scenario.
Maybe something backside, pass backside. It's going to be, yep, there you go.
Looking up
there
top.
It is, bingo.
They may not do it often, but they do it well. In the state championship game, the first points come through the skies for the Tigers. How about that Tatum and Atkinson touchdown, which puts this team on the board for the first time in its state championship history.
Yeah, JP, and they've been setting it up all game. They're running to that heavy set. Tight end backside just pretends like he's going to block and then sneaks out. He was covered well, but he just made a good throw and catch there.
Nasir Vines, watch the job he does to bring this into the breadbasket and then hang on when he collides with the ground. They have a difficult time doing that at all levels these days, what he pulled off there. Vines on the touchdown reception. It's as true a toss as you would want from Usher. And the TD has Wilson Prep up 6-0 in the Class A title game. Now they're thinking about 8-0 as the 2-point team is out there. Usher looking for a seam. No signal, and they're going to say he's shy. It will just be the 6, but it is the first 6 of the contest.
That could be huge, JP, having to chase those points, because, you know, we noticed from the opening kickoff there's no kickers on either sideline, it seems. And he just tried to, you know, ram it straight up the middle. But once again, credit to that Robbinsville defense, bend but don't break, and they kept him out, and that could come back to play pivotal in this game.
You know, those 2-point opportunities going to be difference makers. And, you know, right now, with the way the first half has played out, any point's a difference maker.
That's right.
What can you say about that drive when you reflect upon what his team put together and tuck it away in the back of your mind? That was a 4th down and goal from outside the 10-yard line on which they scored. That's a moment to circle in a state championship environment.
Yeah, Prep, you know, had that big chunk play down the middle or with that run. And JP, I tell you something, man. If I'm Robbinsville, I'm not going to get discouraged. They've been playing great defense all game, and they just gave up that one big play. And, you know, it's kind of par for the course when they got inside the red zone, but they're going to have to do something big, maybe here on special teams as well, and see if they can get better starting field position.
Well, we have not had one of these since the opener. An Original Grills kickoff. Elevate your grill game at Original Grills. Original Grills, the sponsor of our kickoffs in this 2025 North Carolina High School Athletic Association championship environment. Wilson Prep set to kick it away after the effective drive to put the crew here for the first time, up for the first time, and gathering it in after a catch-your-breath moment there on the far side. It will be Robbinsville football at the 27. You know the Black Knights are without Tisa Teske. We've talked about that, but there are a number of individuals that are working their way through trying to get back into the state championship environment. For more on the attrition in this one, let's go field side and check in with Madison again.
Well, you mentioned it. Kizek still walking up and down the field, now chatting with his mom, doing everything he can to get back on the field. But Benton Gibby, the sophomore, and his backup running back is out for the game. He is in concussion protocol, and we saw it on the other side. Keenan Howard, he also was tested for concussion protocol. Unsure what the results of that were, but he just put his helmet back on, so I'll keep you updated as I learn more.
Thanks so much, Madison. So staying in the game right now, as big a challenge as anything. And this is going to be out of bounds at the 22-yard line. What kind of response do you expect from Robbinsville here when you consider 2:36 to play in the half, Eric?
Yeah, they're going to have to readjust once again. If they lose one more, it's next man up. But eventually, it's like there's only so much you can do, right? And so, yeah, next man up, JP, and they're going to have to try and sling the ball down the field.
Hold it. Defense.
Defensive holding this time around.
10-yard penalty. First down.
They're going to walk 10 yards off, which will mean a Tatum and Atkinson first down. Reminder, Tatum and Atkinson, they're the heavy hitters, sponsors of our first downs here in the second quarter. 2:36 to play in the half. For the first time, we have a score on the board as Wilson Prep marched down, converted on 4th and 14. 4th and goal from the 14, to be specific. And this is going to be stopped before getting back to the original line of scrimmage. It's 2nd down and 11.
Yeah, they're going to have to readjust. Robbinsville is, with their game plan, and instead of being run heavy with Tisa Teskey, you're going to have to air it out a little bit, it seems, JP.
Well, airing it out worked for Wilson Prep. We'll see what they can do on the ground this time. They had that rhythm going a moment ago, Eric, where when they were driving deep into Tigers territory, they had several impressive runs ripped off in a row. Looking for another here, but 3rd down's coming.
Yeah, it seemed to be a little confusion on the Wilson Prep defense as they get lined up, and they just ran power right at them. I tell you, if they can get 3 yards a clip, they can score, JP, but it's going to take just continuing to execute, getting those blocks and moving those big fellas from Wilson Prep off the line of scrimmage.
Robbinsville coming to the near side with 1:37 on the first half game clock. Well, a reminder, we will have our Legacy Federal Credit Union play of the game. Legacy and Wake Forest, we believe, sponsors of our play of the game. You want to stay tuned. Prior to the conclusion of each state championship game this weekend, we will have our Legacy Federal Credit Union play of the game. A couple of candidates for that so far. Maybe none bigger than a 4th down and goal.
Right.
That stands as the difference right now.
So far, JP, that's my vote.
You think that obviously is a moment that stands out. Robbinsville's been deep in Wilson Prep territory a couple of times. Both times the football snatched away by the Tigers on takeaways. Those are really the moments that begin to stand out now, Eric.
Yeah, they do. You got to take care of the football. If I'm coaching, the defense for Wilson Prep, I'm going to continue to say the same thing. We always talked about the first man got there and wrapped him up, and then whoever's coming in next is attacking that football. Whether you're going to do the peanut punch, they call it, right? Or put that helmet on it to try and get that football out of there. But, from a defensive perspective, man, both teams are playing well right now.
Yeah, no doubt about that. 3rd down, set up nicely. And the connection made, that's going to be a first down. Tatum and Atkinson first down on the far side. Nice toss and catch.
Yeah, there you go, JP. Once again, you got to go dig deep into the playbook, and maybe some things that you're setting up for the second half, you're going to have to run now. And, it just ran like a little flood pattern to the flat out there and hit the receiver and got enough for the first down.
Well, this time, quarterback keeping it, and he's down to the 42-yard line. So that works out nicely. So they initially go Elijah Kirkland a moment ago. and then now call the quarterback's number up near the sticks again. Here's Robbinsville. You know, Coach Ford beginning to put some things together here.
Yeah, there you go. It's just a design quarterback run. He's going to fake it like he's going to throw the ball, but you had everybody blocking. So that would have been another penalty had he thrown it, because you had linemen downfield as well. But yeah, it's, you know, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. And so there they go, you know, getting on that corner and getting a big pickup there.
Back on the Tigers side of the 50. Wilson Prep going to call a timeout to talk things over with 1:24 to play in the half. Well, mentioned we're 1:24 away from the half. You'll want to stick around at the half. You'll hear from Commissioner Q. Tucker of the North Carolina High School Athletic Association. You'll have stats, highlights, a whole lot more coming your way. All part of the Foundation Solutions halftime report from right here in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. That's the Foundation Solutions halftime report coming your way in just over 80 seconds or so of game time. You know what a thrill it is for these young men. You see the sights and sounds of Chapel Hill, North Carolina. And these games being played here on an afternoon like this, and as daylight gives way to darkness and the bright lights come up, you're reminded just what a thrill this is for a lifetime for these high school kids.
For sure, they're going to remember it. I guarantee you for the rest of their lives, JP. And the older you get, the better you work, right? I lived that life.
Understand how that comes together. The fish stories just continue to grow.
Continue to grow. Going deep.
Behind the D. And that's caught inside the 5. And it looks as if they're going to mark this down at the 1-yard line and call it a catch. How about this? It's been the passing game on both sides making the difference in this contest so far. And this time around, they go to Eli Lambert.
There you go, just a fly pattern. You know, he just took off running and Lovin threw it up for him. And that was a great throw and catch. But once again, you see the ball comes out right at the end. If that were in the middle of the field, JP, that could be a difference maker.
On the goal line, they're going to give right side, and there's a touchdown to pull Robbinsville even. They go just that quickly back to Isaac Collins once they're in striking distance. And the Tatum and Atkinson touchdown makes it 6 apiece.
There you go. Once again, just that little quick fullback dive, JP. It got him down the field, and it gets him into the end zone. Great execution.
Tatum and Atkinson are the heavy hitters. And Tatum and Atkinson may be the heavy hitters on our broadcast. Isaac Collins, he's been the heavy hitter when it comes to the power left in this football game right now for Robbinsville, and he utilizes it for the TD.
There you go, JP. Now this is interesting here.
Here comes a field goal try, an extra point try.
So it's offsides. Do you make a change?
Half the distance, and guess what personnel's coming back in?
There you go. You're screaming heavy, heavy, heavy. Forget about the field goal. We got half the distance to go right now from the 1-yard line. I hazard a guess, number 7 may have something to do with this play here.
You think Mr. Collins could be involved in trying to do the same song second verse?
And boom, boom, there you go.
On cue, Robbinsville takes its first lead of the day with 1:13 to play in the half. They used the passing game to work within striking distance, turning to Eli Lambert down the near sideline. But it's finished off by Collins, ×2 for 8 on the board.
The big fella, 6'3", 205 pounds, not to be denied. And there's that flex again. Good job, young fella.
Well, Robbinsville, for all their trips deep into Wilson Prep territory and coming away empty, they finally are able to cash in.
There you go. And they're comfortable with, hey, and keep in mind, their top 2 running backs are out, JP. So they're having to make adjustments, getting deep into the playbook, opening up that passing game, and it opens up the field, and it gets them into the end zone.
First-year head coach Lucas Ford, who was under D. Walsh, who led the program for 17 years. Obviously, you go even further back, and Here's a guy who's at the helm of this program, who played in this program, who knows the community. He speaks their language. He understands their approach. And he led them back to a state championship environment for the first time in the high school lives of all the young men on this roster. And they've embraced the moment late second to take an 8-6 lead. Pretty good return.
Big return.
Still moving. Across midfield. And the 49-yard line where this is brought back. On the return by Tyquan Whitaker. Take a look at Whitaker. He keeps the wheels churning.
He does, and that's one tackle. 2, 3. He's getting out those yards after contact. That had potential to be a huge play, but once again, the pursuit of that those Robbinsville defenders denied.
62 seconds, just over a minute remaining in the opening half of action. Just that far from the Foundation Solutions halftime report. And the ball resting just at the base of that North Carolina Tar Heel logo. The Tigers go to work. Well, passing games work better than anything else thus far. They'll try it again. This is going to be ruled incomplete. Incomplete. They had Manny Dickens right there, but he could not quite get his hands underneath it.
Yeah, that would have been a huge play just before half, JP. And good call by the field judge. He's right there on, or the back judge, sorry. He's right there on it and called it incomplete. But that had potential, that backside. They get flowing, going one side, taking advantage of that aggressive pursuit and throwing it backside.
So close to a reception for Manny Dickens. Remember, Manny Dickens, son of the head coach, leading receiver from a year ago. They're going to try it far side, going in the direction of the guy who had the return a moment ago. This intended for Tyquan Whitaker is incomplete. You know, before we go too far past Manny Dickens, he talked about it. He said, you know, I'm probably toughest on him than anybody on the team because he's my son. He said, but he's a guy who's a big piece of what we do. Talked about what an honor it is to have him and have that opportunity, a father-son type scenario. Got to be something special to have as your leading returning receiver from a year ago, a guy who bears your name.
Yeah, that is cool, but it's also tough to coach your kid. I coached my kid, and, you know, some of the toughest battles I had was with mama at home, right?
Well,
but,
he said in a press conference, he said, you know, maybe he didn't do exactly what I wanted him to do in the offseason. I got the feeling with a father and a son, neither ever does exactly what the other wants them to do, but what a special moment to look beyond that and say, hey, what a thrill we have to do this together.
5-yard penalty.
And after all, as you see the penalty ineligible downfield that's going to back his crew up just a bit, after all, isn't that what transcends football anyway? What's bigger than all of it, that these players, they become families across the course of the year. And when some of them legitimately are blood family, it makes the stories even deeper, even greater.
It certainly does. And some of the most powerful words on a high school campus or college campus, as coach says. A coach has so much influence in these kids' lives.
It can change a life. Third down, and this is caught, but well short of the marker. So fourth down is coming with 17 seconds to play. Clock winding on down. What's the old adage? Good coach can change a game. Great coach can change a life.
That's right.
It's worth remembering that. A big thank you to all the coaches and administrators all across the state of North Carolina. You were keeping an eye on the defense right there.
Indeed, yeah, that was number 12. And we're going deep here. Yeah, just going to knock it down going into halftime. That was number 12, Elijah Kirkland on the defense of that earlier play.
Well, and then the final play of the game, defended by Tucker Jones, among others. They turned that aside, and we have reached halftime. Well, it took a little while to get going from a standpoint of scoring, but Wilson Prep put 6 on the board, only to see Robbinsville come back with 8 of their own, and that's where we stand at the intermission with these teams separated by 2. Let's go field side. Madison has one of our head coaches.
Well, Coach, you had 2 running backs go down in that first half, and you guys had to adjust offensively. How do you feel like the Black Knights handled that?
Well, and on the same play. Yeah, both our big running backs went down, one a knee and then one an ankle, but he's okay, Isaac is. But I told these guys, and then Gibby goes out with a concussion out the rest of the night, but I told them that families got each other's back, you know, in their family at home. If something bad happens to somebody, we're all really quick to pitch in and help out. This is no different on our football team, and our guys have done a great job responding, picking those guys up, because you can see by the tears in their eyes, they want to be out there fighting. But it's special. We just got to come and finish. We got to take care of the football. So.
Well, second half, you said it. There were a lot of turnovers and flags in that first half. How do you mitigate that in the second?
Well, we have to control what we can control, and I felt like, look at the stat line, I don't know what they look like, but I felt like we controlled most of the half up and down the field, running the ball. We have to take care of the football. We got to be disciplined, limit the penalties, but we got to take care of the football. So,
thank you.
Nice, thank you.
Thanks to Coach and thanks to Madison. It's as if he heard the conversation we were having just a moment ago. Talks about the importance of family, how these two teams have come together as families, and it's resulted in a Class A championship opportunity. 2-point game at halftime. Much more to come. Our halftime coverage is on the other side of the break.
This high school gym used to be packed most nights. Not anymore. Do you know why? Because bad behavior by fans, especially adults, has caused a shortage of game officials across the country. You see, without officials, we can't have sports. Don't let this become reality. It's time for a change. Let's bench bad behavior for good.
You're watching the Foundation Solutions Halftime Report. Foundation Solutions. It won't cost you to get a quote from us, but it could cost you thousands if you don't. Call today or visit foundationswnc.com.
Hey everybody, thank y'all for tuning in to this state championship high school football game. Joining us today is our good friend all the way from Ingalls Markets, Miss Taylor Newhouse. Taylor, are you loving the game so far?
Absolutely, it's been a fun one to watch.
It has been a fun one to watch. Now, what are you anticipating? An explosive finish, I hope?
We always hope for an explosive finish, but definitely an interesting game.
All right, we got to talk at the end of the game then.
Absolutely.
Now, let's talk about high school athletics in general, because from what I understand, Ingalls Markets, y'all have had a long-standing and robust partnership, not just with our organization, but the entire community as a whole. Let's talk about the dynamics points to that partnership?
Absolutely. We kind of gravitate towards athletics because we feel like it's a great way to reach our communities. But we're with these kids all the way from that first day of elementary school all the way through college. So we're really following them. But athletics is a good way to bring it all together because everyone loves a Friday night football game.
They do indeed, including you and I. That's
Absolutely.
right. So it sounds like you guys really do bridge that link between academics and athletics. Am I correct to assume that?
Yes, definitely. We're there to support children through their entire educational experience.
Speaking of supporting children, y'all have people who come into y'all stores and end up working for y'all, people who you go to church with. I mean, this really is a tight-knit community. Is that right?
Absolutely. Ingalls is a beacon in all of our communities. And we love to get people in and out of the store, especially these kids that are working at our stores, our athletes and students in the schools that we support as well.
That's indeed right. Well, Haley, you know what time it is. It's time to get back to some football.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it. We'll see you guys next time on Friday Night Rivals.
So, you gonna play this week?
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 You gonna play this
You
week?
gonna play this week? You gonna play this week?
You gonna play this week?
You gonna play this week?
And welcome to the Ingalls Game of the Week as the War Horses square off against the rival.
He's going in.
He's going in. Go, baby!
Ingalls, we're with you every step of the way.
You're watching the Foundation Solutions Halftime Report. Foundation Solutions. It won't cost you to get a quote from us, but it could cost you thousands if you don't. Call today or visit foundationswnc.com.
Commissioner Tucker, thank you for your time. Another exciting week with the state championships here.
It is almost unbelievable that here we are getting ready to crown champions in football when it just seems like we just started the season.
This year began the 8 classification system. Why the change? How has it been working? And do you foresee any adjustments for next year?
Well, this is the last of a fall championships where we will crown 8 champions based on the new 8 classification system that our board approved. So far, so good. And for this weekend coming, we have 3 outstanding venues.
There are plenty of familiar names in this year's championship. What do you think makes these programs successful year in and year out?
Well, I think first and foremost, those coaches recognize that what we do is called education-based athletics. And it's about providing teachable moments. It's about teaching young people the core values of sportsmanship, integrity, and honesty. And I believe that those coaches understand how to navigate that kind of balance.
And what do you think has been the biggest challenge for the association this year?
Well, I think always a big challenge for us is trying to help everybody understand the role of sportsmanship in what we do. It's been an ongoing theme of trying to keep that front and center of what we do. And of course, as I mentioned, we do have the 8 classifications in this alignment period. And so just trying to secure those venues has been a challenge.
And can you discuss those new venues and kind of some of the highlights of the new opportunities for these athletes to play in?
Well, of course, the mainstay is UNC and Keenan Stadium. They've been a site for us for many, many years. The association grew out of the University of North Carolina, and that's one of the reasons that our office is based in Chapel Hill, and one of the reasons that we continue to hold our football championships here. So they're still on the docket. And then, of course, NC State had some conflicts that we could not work around. So we reached out to some other venues, and Lenore Ryan University said, hey, let's talk. And so their Moretz Stadium has been made available to us. We're excited about being in that part of the state. And Durham County Stadium also stepped to the plate and said, let's talk, let's see what we can do. And so we look forward to that.
And education-based athletics is a policy that's very important to you. How do we keep the balance in today's ever-changing sports climate?
It is about learning how to be a young person, how to grow into that young adult. And if we've done our job, we have those young people poised and ready to be able to go on and make a difference.
Commissioner Tucker, thank you for your time as always, and enjoy championship weekend.
Thank you so much.
The North Carolina High School Athletic Association welcomes you to tonight's game.
We are excited to celebrate the hashtag NCHSAA Game Locked In, which honors everything that makes high school sports special.
Let's continue to create a positive, welcoming environment for everyone. Cheer loudly, support your team, show respect to officials, opponents, and each other.
Let's make tonight's game one to remember, full of pride, positivity, and what it means to be truly locked in.
Just to score a piece on the board, Robbinsville adding the 2-point conversion, which stands as the difference in the contest as the Class A title bout has reached halftime. And Eric, time to take a look back at the first half of action, and you're going to see a lot of highlights, though most of them are defensive highlights when you look back at the first half of action. There will be those moments where the offense has got the job done, and you see just a tremendous defensive stand here. One of a couple of key takeaways for Wilson Prep.
Yeah, I love the big fella there, stiff arm and thinking he's Derrick Henry running down the field. That was a big stop for Wilson Prep right there, attacking the football.
Well, this Wilson Prep team went on the move, and you'll remember marched all the way down. Now it's going to be a 4th down conversion. Four making his mark in the contest here. Ethan Nelson had his moments in the first half. The big 4 is the 4th down conversion. 4th down goal from the 14, and that's the lone score for Wilson Prep.
Yeah, and it's just a throwback. They've been running power to that strong side all night, and they got a throwback there, and they got them on the scoreboard, and they were chasing those points. And we see here with Robbinsville doing the same thing, showing that they can pass the football as well.
Vines the touchdown catch for Wilson Prep. Lambert the long catch down the sideline, and then everything capped off with a touchdown run from Collins. He followed it up with a 2-point try.
That's right. The big fella Collins would not be denied. He is 6'3", 205 pounds, and showing that he wants this football game.
Without Tisa Teskey, but with some major moments in the latter stages of the second quarter, Robbinsville searching for number 15 all time as a 2-point lead at the half. Time to share with you some of the big moments from around the country as part of Sinclair's Thursday Night Lights, Friday Night Rivals packages. Here's some of the big moments that stand out from 2025.
The best Thursday Night Lights and Friday Night Rivals highlights from across the country.
Raw, nice cut move and a hurdle. He's still on his feet. Are you kidding me? Caleb Ron, touchdown. Oh my goodness, what did he just do?
He will roll right, under pressure, still on his feet, trying to find somebody downfield. He's in trouble. He'll throw it to the back of the end zone. A receiver's wide open. Touchdown, McQueen.
Michael Henry got his field goal blocked, caught it, and said, look what I found. Touchdown. In one of the most bizarre football plays you will ever see.
Pressure, throws it downfield to the middle of the field. What a catch, coming up and grabbing the ball.
Oh my goodness. I had no idea it was one-handed that he grabbed that thing and hauled it in.
Another rush, they're gonna throw the screen and it's intercepted. How about the big fella, Akeem Davis? Davis staying on his feet. Look at him go. Davis.
It's like a scrum.
They can't bring him down. Akeem Davis is still moving. At the 30, at the 25, he snuck out of there. Are you kidding me, Akeem Davis? He is in for the touchdown.
55-yard field goal from the left hash. The kick is up, and it is. It's good at the buzzer. Bryant is the hero for the Buccaneers.
Tonight's high-end zone views of the game are compliments of Cook Rentals. Now in 5 locations across North Carolina. Cook Rentals, renting the smart way to get things done.
Storms can come up fast, and your roof is your home's first line of defense. Tip Top Roofing is fully licensed, insured, and trusted by homeowners, HOAs, and real estate professionals. From the smallest repairs to the largest residential replacements, we handle it all, including gutters and siding. As a CertainTeed Select Shingle Master, we offer up to 25 years of workmanship coverage and a lifetime materials warranty. Ask about our senior and veteran discounts and schedule your free inspection today at tiptoproofing.net.
Tonight's high-end zone views of the game are compliments of First Source Equipment Rentals and Sales in Mebane and Burlington. First Source Rentals, reliable, safe equipment rentals in Alamance County.
These teams separated by just a couple of points. The 2-point conversion, the difference in this one with 1 score on the board on each side. We heard from Coach Ford going to break. Time now to go field side. Hear from Coach Dickens of Wilson Prep.
Well, Coach, your defense was able to erase multiple opportunities from the Black Knights in the first half. What do you like about that group so far?
Well, I love what they're doing defensively. We just had a couple of breakdowns, and that was just my DBs got caught looking in the backfield. But overall, I think we're playing them fine. We're going to hit quarterback a lot more this half. You'll see that. But I'm very pleased with what I've seen so far, other than the mistakes.
How do you keep your offense rolling going into the second half?
Oh, they're hungry. We're going to come out and score on this opening drive. Watch us.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Well, you guys heard it. Back to you.
Well, he go ahead and predicts what's going to happen on the opening drive, and he told you the quarterback better watch out. That's coming his way moving forward. You know, amazing when you look at the score, E. These were two teams that averaged over 50 points per contest in the playoffs. If you average out their totals through the playoffs, both of them were scoring 50 or more. It's 8-6 at the half.
I love it. Listen, JP, man, you know, we've always said, you know, if you're still playing football and they're playing you know, you're celebrating Thanksgiving, man, you had a great season. When they're playing Christmas music and you're still playing, it's an outstanding season. And these two defenses have shown up today. And, you know, I'm thinking of the adjustments that you make. And Coach Ford said it. Take care of the football, right? Eliminate the penalties. And you can say that for both teams. And coming out, you know, you heard Coach Dickens say, yeah, we're going to get after the quarterback. But offensively, they're going to score. I think they have to mix in some passes now.
His communication, you get the sense from that interview, was clear.
Oh, yeah.
The question is, will they be able to execute?
That's right, no doubt. I almost jumped out of the booth and wanted to run out.
You're ready to go.
That's right. He said, oh, we will score. So let's see if his team is going to answer the call.
You got a night squad looking for a 15th state championship all time, their first since 2019. So for this group of young men, for all the titles that live there in Robbinsville, it would be a first under first-year head coach Mr. Ford, who fills up your screen there. So this would be a first in that way for that group and a 15th all-time. For Wilson Prep, this is their first time here. It's going to be a first championship on the football side the school's ever experienced just 4 years into its tenure. Either way, it's going to be an incredible story. What do you see these final two quarters coming down to determine which of those stories are written at the end of the night?
Yeah, it's a war of attrition. You know, we've already seen that Robbinsville has lost a couple of key players, and they're just going to have the next man up and going to have to continue to do what they've been doing, take care of that football, be disciplined on D, eliminate those penalties, and maybe they'll come out, you know, with number 15 for a state championship. And Wilson Prep, they have to come out right now and score. They have to set the tone, and Coach says they're going to get after the quarterback on defense, but he says first, we're going to get this ball and we're going to score. So let's see how the team responds.
According to the head coach, it's just a matter of how. We are getting set for the second half kickoff. Our kickoff, of course, will be brought to you by Original Grills. Original Grills, elevate your grill game at Original Grills, sponsors of all our kickoffs across the course of this weekend. We said it, 100+ years of football in North Carolina, 313 playoff games to get here, and there are 8 state championships, 4 of them being played here at North Carolina.
Yep.
The other half split evenly between Durham on Saturday and Lenore-Ryan University on Saturday. Durham Memorial Stadium, Lenore-Ryan University going to be the host site for the other 4 games. But by the time the weekend is done, 8 games across 3 days for 8 state champions. This will be the first crowned, and there's one half left to settle it in the Class A ranks between Robbinsville's Black Knights and the Wilson Prep Tigers. Happy you're with us. Our broadcast continues with the third quarter kickoff. The broadcast brought your way by Affordable Dentures and Implants. Here is the Original Grills kickoff of the third quarter. Very short, pretty good field position for that predicted drive for the touchdown. They're going to be 55 yards or so away from it. See exactly where they spot this. Looks like it's going to be the 43-yard line, so 57 yards away. What do you expect adjustment-wise from these two teams based on what you heard?
Yeah, I think, you know, for Wilson Prep, they're going to have to mix in some passes. You know, they, you know, off of play action, they've been running that power, you know, to the strong side all night, and they've been having some success. Actually, they scored the touchdown with that throwback. So, you know, expect them to maybe come out and see a little bit of spread and try and push the ball down the field.
Of course, the other storyline, Robbinsville a bit short-handed. Some of their key playmakers, including the headliner, Mr. T. Sateski, out of the contest, but they find themselves out front 8-6 entering the third quarter. The first play from scrimmage, going to take it up near midfield. That's Usher on the keeper. He looks a little shaken up here.
Yeah, you hate to see that, JP, but the war of attrition comes. We have another Black Knight that's down. You hate to see that.
The injured Robbinsville player
It's like 54, Kellen Inslee, it looks like, senior linebacker.
And he's giving you every indication, Usher that is, that he's okay, even though he was a little slow to get up. There are the vitals on Inslee, who good to see him also moving under his own power.
Yeah, it's always good to see that, JP. You know, you hate seeing the kid down on the field, but when they can get up and walk off under their own power, it's always encouraging to see that.
Of course, we referenced it just a moment ago, but without Kazik Tisateski, and that's a huge loss because when you look at his numbers across the course of the year and what he's done in the playoff run for this Black Knights squad, but they have had a next man up mentality here today, on the lead at the moment. Although we were just told 8's not going to be enough to win it, right?
That's right.
Coming near side. And inside the 40-yard line, as he lunges forward, is Ethan Nelson on the carry.
Yeah, and see, you're going to see here, JP, one of the changes that Wilson Prep has made is they had those two wideouts split out there. So what that does, effectively, it takes those extra defenders out of the box, right, and opens up those running lanes a little more.
That is a tip-top roofing first down. And on the tip-top roofing first down play, left side, but nothing much there. Well, a couple yards on the first down gain. As we dip under 11 minutes to play, freshly underway in the third quarter. And a game dominated by my broadcast partner's very favorite thing,
defense. I absolutely love it. Now, they've come out in that same formation with those wideouts and just kind of like that double wing set. Same set here. Now, watch for some play action off that, JP, where they, you know, fake the run and then raise up and throw it.
And remember, coach's kid, the leading target and leading receiver back from a year ago, one of the key weapons. And there were a couple of plays there. Usher's going to keep it here, and you're going to be a little closer to the marker, about 4.5 yards away now with third down coming. But worth reminding everybody, there were a couple of times in that first half that they dialed up a passing play that was there for the taking, just didn't quite make the connection. And some of the largest gains in this game on both sides have been of the passing variety.
Yep, here they come, same set.
This time going to keep it on the ground. And not much there, but here's a flag.
There's number 54, Kellen Inslee, who just went off the field hurt. He's the one in the backfield making that tackle.
Good to see him back. Here's the call.
Offense. Inside guy. Hold it. Offense. 10 yards.
There we go. Number 3 held him. Yeah, that was Inslee, you know, inserting himself into that line of scrimmage and got that holding call.
He's a handful.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. I love it. I mean, that's attack defense. You're getting downhill right now.
If the prediction is going to come true, it's got to now happen from behind the sticks.
That's right.
Third down. The line to make is the 29-yard line for Wilson Prep.
Previous spot, sir.
Well, a little bit of discussion with.
Sounds like Coach Ford is saying there's a spot foul, so you're going to spot, mark it off from the spot of the foul, but I'm not sure if that is truly the discussion.
And on the other side, they say, what's all the holdup? We're ready to run our third down play. And they end up sitting this at the 43. Well, now they're going to march him a little further back. Looked like it was going to be set up for a 3rd and 14. I was going to make your comment. 4th and 14 worked out really well, right? From a earlier in the game goal to go scenario. But this is going to be a little more than that as they back it up to the 49.
Yeah, hopefully they got it figured out now, JP.
20 yards the difference between here and where they need to be. 29-yard line, what they're looking for. And that's incomplete. A flag comes out on the third down play.
Looks like the indication is holding by the side judge here.
Holding. Offense. 10 yards. 3rd down.
Well,
I'd probably want to decline that, but
it's a matter of whether you want the yardage or the downs at this point, right?
Right.
Here's another look at it.
Yeah, look right on. And once again, number 54, 54 for Robbinsville, Kellen Inslee is being held again. He is making his presence felt here.
Been a disruptor of this scripted drive to open the 3rd quarter. Well,
it seems that Coach Ford was trying to, he declined the penalty. Get it sorted out.
As you thought he might.
Yeah.
Instead making it 4th down from the 49. And unless the eyes are deceiving, the kicking unit is working its way out there onto the field.
Yeah.
Which means that first drive of the half did not go quite according to plan.
That's right. Unless, JP,
there's a
he's
little
got some
trickery
the
here.
sleeve right here. Yeah, making a splash play on special teams. You never know.
Stranger things have happened. Well, the overall message still well received that both these teams are looking for a little more out of their offenses in the second half. That really the theme of what he shared with us.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. They're 4th down.
Looks like Coach Dickens is saying he called timeout, but apparently didn't get through to the ref, and so it'll be another 5-yard penalty.
Well, a little more room to kick it here. Yep. First touch of the 3rd quarter. Yeah. Still making a bid for that game-changing moment. And working it into Robbinsville territory. There's a flag on the field at the 29.
There are 2 flags.
And one up near the 50. He ended up about 6 yards shy of 1st down yardage. But there are further pieces of laundry to be sorted out here. This has been a familiar refrain in this 3rd quarter.
Climb. 1st down.
So it was another holding penalty against Wilson Prep. And since it's their football, Robbinsville said, we don't want that one either. It will be the Knights back in command offensively and leading it by a couple when you return to Chapel Hill.
The need for officials has never been greater. Without officials, we don't have this. Make the right call.
Become an NCHSAA official. Visit NCHSAA.org for more details.
We will have the Affordable Dentures and Implants Player of the Game prior to the conclusion of the contest. Use your 2025 dental benefits now. Get the smile you deserve. Visit affordabledentures.com for a practice near you. Too early to tell who the player of the game will be. Too early to tell who the champion in this game is going to be. Just a slim margin as Robbinsville goes to work. Got to ask you about adjustments for Robbinsville. We talked a lot about what Wilson Prep will be trying to do here in this 3rd quarter. How about the Knights?
Yeah, I think the Knights are just going to have to remain consistent. You know, eliminate the penalties and hold on to the football. They've been in some great positions, you know, as far as in the red zone and, you know, fumble the ball. So I think it's just really taking care of the football, eating up as much of the clock as you can, because right now they're nursing a 2-point lead.
Ended up giving it to Cameron Allison there.
And it looks like it's going to be a false start.
Dead ball. False start. Offense. 5-yard penalty.
Well, both these coaches
Second down.
made aware now, you got to execute these situations to perfection here in the state championship environment. And second down from behind the sticks is coming.
Yeah, it's got to be frustrating. You know, you played such a good game, and you know, it's the little mistakes, little middle mistakes that happened. And once again, you know, for Robbinsville, they're playing with two of their starters down.
Well, I'm going to put a little more meat on the bones of what we were talking about earlier, about the difference in this contest and the scoring in the playoffs. Think about the last, let's just take the last 5 games, dating back beyond that for Robbinsville. 61-0 against Rosman, 54-7 against Cherokee, 56-7 against Andrews, 54-7 against East Columbus, 41-7 against South Davidson, 8 on the board.
Yeah.
Flip over to the other side, 70-0 against North Edgecombe. Southeast Collegiate, that was a 64-40 game for Wilson Prep. Then against Kent Pride, 42-16. Then Northside Pinetown, 52-22. There are 6 on the board for the Tigers. Think about the 2 journeys and paths to this point where they're both averaging over 50 per contest, and they have combined for 14 at this point in the contest.
Yeah, once again, JP, my heart is overwhelmed with joy because I love the defensive, you know, gamesmanship.
You are telling me it's music to your ears.
It's music to I love it. I love these knockdown, drag-out heavyweight fights. I absolutely love it.
I think it's a reminder, too, that in the state championship environment, as Robbinsville is set to kick it away, you just never know what it's going to take to win the title. Sometimes you have to win it differently than you've been winning along the way. That seems to be the case tonight for these 2. It is blown dead at the 28-yard line. That is where Wilson Prep will take over. So it's the Tigers' turn. Down a couple with 6:40 to go in the third. What did you see on the opening drive of the third quarter for both teams?
Well, I saw Wilson Prep attempting to do what Coach Dickens said. We're going to score this opening drive on that fake punt for 4th and 25, something like that. And it was just about 6 yards short. So if they did it they ran that in the middle of the field, I can see right now this is going to be a knockdown, drag out. They're going to pull out all the stops here, JP.
Yeah, went for 19 on a need of 26 basis. Here is Usher up across the 35 to the 39. You know, Usher's had his moments so far in this game, but maybe not that defining moment just yet.
Yeah, not yet. You know, he's a 210-pounder, 5'11", so he's like a little bowling ball. You kind of get tired of hitting that, JP, as the game progresses. But I'm sure we're going to get a steady dose. They've been doing it all year. This is what got them here. They're going to continue to do it.
He rushes for a first down here. Another dose of Usher for more on the ball carrier for Wilson Prep. Let's check in again with Madison.
Well, his head coach calls him a warrior. He is playing on an injury, guys, that he didn't even know he had. Back in week 1 against Clayton, he broke his foot and didn't even realize it. About a week ago, after a bout of turf toe, he got it x-rayed, and the doctor told him, dude, your foot's broken. But even so, he's still rushed for nearly 1,900 yards coming to this game so far this season.
Just a remarkable story. Think on that, Yeah. Broken foot, you're unaware, you know something's not quite right. I'll just almost rush for 2,000 yards. A remarkable season for a young man who's given his team everything.
Yeah, and you carry that attitude and mentality into life, he's going to be successful no matter what he does. And so kudos to that young fella. And for the training staff, you know, to diagnose that and to keep him out there playing.
Bounced
oh, boy.
Right into things. There's a ball on the turf. It appeared to be fumbled. And they're trying to unfurl the pile. It appears that the Tigers have it.
Whew. And you know, something I noticed during warm-ups with the football, he was carrying it a little bit loose, a little bit low, and here he's just trying to make something happen, right? Fatigue is setting in, and there's, I couldn't see the number, looks like number 33, that would be Christian Kohler to punch that ball out. Talked to that young man's parents before the game, and they said it's pronounced Kohler. And so Kohler gets his moment there with causing that fumble.
Good stuff. And Nelson, by the way, going to owe somebody on that offensive line for
right.
coming on the scene and taking care of business on the recovery. 3rd down. A long 2. Comes near side, and that appears to be enough. It is. In fact, he's going to have about a yard or so more than he needed as the ball was carried by Vines. Remember, Vines had the touchdown reception a little earlier in the contest, and here he comes away with the 1st down carry. Move the chains. That's a tip-top roofing 1st down.
Yep, sorry about that, JP. And they've been running that power set all night. And if you remember, on the touchdown to Vines, this is the exact set, and he was lined up at tight end that they scored on in the 1st half.
It's all good. I was just going to tell you about tip-top roofing. That's all. He's looking for about half of what he needs for another tip-top roofing 1st down. Tip-top roofing, faith, family, football, roofing. Check them out. That's tip-top roofing sponsoring our 1st downs in this game. You know, it's a fitting sponsorship because both these coaches have talked about what a family their teams have become across the course of the year. You got one sideline in which there's some family connections that are evident, and both these teams having become just that across the course of the year. How about this? Blown up by that Robbinsville front, and you know him by now.
Yes, sir, Mr. Kellen. I love the big, you see the little shimmy that he gave, JP? Man, that's one of the little pretty boy, one of the running backs or something like that. That's their shimmy. I love how he inserts himself into that pile. He gets up and lets everybody know, Mama, I did it, and give him a little shimmy shake. I love it.
He has lived in that backfield along the way in this one. It sets up a 3rd down and 10.
That's right. You reestablish that line of scrimmage.
Inside 4 minutes to go in the 3rd. The give's going to be to number 4. And he's got some room. There's a flag down at around the 41, and that's in the general area where you begin to get concerned it might be coming back.
Might be coming back. It could be holding, JP. You never know.
And it was Nelson on the carry again. But everybody's beginning to backpedal.
Yep, sorting it out. Hands kind of flop. It was like, come on, ref. We used to say that all the time. Yep, they're backing up. Looks like it's going to be a holding.
Holding. Offense. Repeat 3rd down.
Yep, hard to see where we are. But that's that pursuit. Oh, yep, there it is right there. Yep, looks like number 3. Held him a bit just to get him that corner.
Trying to make some room. Makes it 3rd down, country mile here. They need the 30 to move the chains. Everybody rushing near side. One man to seal off. They will. And that is a 1st down run that is set up beautifully, blocked beautifully, and executed to perfection.
Yep. Nazir Vines. There's a little misdirection. Gets them flowing the other way, and they just get on that corner. They outnumber you at the point of attack. That was a good block there on the end. Free up Vines.
Vines has had his moments in this one. We talked about it on the receiving end of the touchdown toss. He's been a defender of consequence in this game, and now he has the latest of his runs on this drive. Maybe it was the 2nd drive of the quarter that was in the mind of the coaching staff. It's looking good so far.
Vines throwing his name in the hat for player of the game, JP. Just saying. If they win, just saying.
Yeah, we don't have the benefit of numbers. I know some of you may be looking for that. We're told by the North Carolina High School Athletic Association they're working on trying to get the stats up and functional. They've not been available for this game, but it would be good to know where some of those numbers are for some of these outstanding players. Perhaps we will before we're done in the Class A title game, brought your way by Affordable Dentures and Implants.
Every first day needs someone who believes in all the days that follow. First practice, first breakthrough, first business plan. A Legacy is proud to partner with Wake Forest University to believe in all of your starts. Because when someone is behind you, everything is in front of you.
We will select our Legacy Federal Credit Union play of the game prior to the conclusion of tonight's contest. The play of the game brought your way by Legacy Federal Credit Union. Legacy in Wake Forest, we believe. After the first down conversion, tip-top roofing first down play coming your way. That was a thing of beauty from Vines and company. Vines leads the way this time, and Usher, as you have said more than once, Eric, the premier rusher, takes it over the left side for about 2.5, and second down's coming.
Yeah, it looks like a little counter they ran there and pulled those three, lined up in the wing and just tried to lead them up through. But once again, that team pursuit by Robbinsville has proven them well this night, JP.
Knocking on the door once again of the air experts heating and cooling the red zone. A little closer to it now.
Nelson with the carry.
Inside the 25. Third down coming. This is going to be a consequential third down.
Yeah, it looks like once again ran that little counter in good pursuit by that defense, and they're just flying around. Looks like the ball came out, but he may have been down at the time. Number 55 there, Kason Buchanan, fighting for the loose football, but turns out he was down. JP brings up about a 3rd and 5.
Yeah, Nelson happy again after the last time around for sure. They are going to call it third down. Long forward, you're right at 5 yards. And Vines this time followed out to the far regions and not allowed to turn the corner.
Nice play by number 23, Luke Green. He was there. And once again, they're just following their keys and stringing them out. And Luke, great pursuit by that defense right there and closing off the way for Mr. Nazir Vines. And I think it was number 33, buddy Christian Kohler there on the play as well. Or it was 23, I'm sorry.
Vitals on Luke Green. 80 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Robbinsville defense stiffening to the tune of a 4th down and 7. Timeout. Tigers.
Dead ball. Delay of game. Offense.
Well,
5-yard penalty.
one official had awarded the timeout on the far side. Our referee was ready to mark off some yardage. But it appears as if...
Timeout.
There we go.
Wilson Prep.
It appears as if word has made its way from one side of the field to the other, and timeout is granted, so there will be no penalty yards. It's going to be a 4th and 7. Take us inside the huddle here for Wilson Prep.
Yeah, first of all, the ref kind of chuckled at himself, right? He was like,
happens.
Yeah, sorry. It happens. You know, Wilson Prep, wow, JP, I mean, they've been playing such a strong game. You got to take a shot. I mean, I think, you know, in that power set, you know, coach may be saying, listen, they're flowing, and you can use that against them. You know, get them flowing one way and hit that just on the touchdown to Vines there in the first half. Get them flowing and hit them backside. But you're going to have to capitalize here, right? Not sure if you get more chances the rest of this game.
If you like precedent and you want history from an encouragement standpoint, it was a 4th down from the 14-yard line on which a touchdown was scored earlier in the contest.
Right.
It's a 4th down here. They don't need quite as much, just the 19-yard line to move the chains.
First time we're seeing that true spread tonight, JP.
Nelson tried to find some space in the middle. It wasn't there. The ball's loose. At this point, the Tigers were trying to keep the ball loose and hope that something might happen. It will not. Robbinsville with a turnover on downs forced yet again. It's been a familiar refrain on both sides in this game, and it turns aside this threat from Wilson Prep.
I tell you, JP, that was the first time we're seeing that spread, and it was just a design run, it seemed. and they're rolling out, but that defense was not fooled, and that pursuit got to him.
Well, you continue to talk about Kellen Inslee.
I love it.
And he ends up with the football somewhat fittingly in his hands when all is said and done here.
That's right. He's pointing to Mama. Mama, look, I got me a football. I love it.
Inslee, one of those senior leaders. You know, think about an entire group, a senior class, never having participated in a state championship environment for Robbinsville, attempting to bring one home.
Yeah, not to be denied, JP. I mean, if you think about it, all they have to do is protect this lead. I mean, if they keep playing that solid defense led by that young man, number 54, Inslee, hey, you never know, JP, but, man, you know, points are hard to come by, as you mentioned earlier, that both averaging over 50 points in the last couple of games, and now 14 points between the both of them.
54 on the other side. Kennedy was a little shaken up on that last play. They tend to him. The standout freshman appears to be all right, which is a good sign.
Yeah, it is, JP. And once again, they're making memories every single second of this game. And, of course, you want to come out on top, but there can only be one state champion in 1A.
Just over a quarter to settle who that is going to be. Inside the final minute of the third. Robbinsville takes over on downs. Finds a corner up across the 40. And Allison is finally run out of bounds near the marker at the 44-yard line. Actually going to say he stepped out at around the 42, so he's going to be about 3 yards shy of the first down.
Yeah, just a little jet sweep out of that spread formation. And I tell you, we may not see the ball thrown a whole lot more to try and keep that clock running if you're Robbinsville, but keep eating away at those yards up, try and get that first down to keep the clock running.
Keeping it in the hands here of Luke Logan. It's pushed back a ways. Logan's going to be helped to his feet.
Yeah, something you'll see, JP, as it plays out more because these young men are playing Ironman football and they don't come off the field, cramps may start to set in. You know, you got to drink that water and stay hydrated, and you hate to see that, but you hope that's all that it is. It's just a simple cramp, but because he's injured, he's going to have to take a play off. And, you know, well, maybe not unless they call timeout, but seemingly he's going to have to come off the field.
Well, you see, he's struggling just a little bit as he comes toward the sideline here.
Yeah.
Try, as you said, to take care of that first of all responsibilities. And here's Braylon Blevins. Blevins, the 10th grader, into the contest now. Braylon Blevins finds himself in a key moment, a third down. A lot of finger pointing.
A lot of
play runs, and guess who? Same guy who had the touchdown and the 2-point conversion earlier. They go back to Isaac Collins, and it moves the chains.
Now, JP, of all the penalties that have been called today, here you have everybody moving. You have the defense that may have stepped into the neutral zone, and then you got the offensive lineman sitting out pointing, and no penalty is called. Well, here you go. First down.
May end up being the final play of the third quarter. It is. 4 fingers in the air for Robbinsville as they pursue title number 15 and a first since 2019. Can Wilson Prep come from behind in their first ever trip to the state championship environment and claim the crown? We'll find out on the other side of the break. Fourth quarter coming up in the Class A title bout presented by Affordable Dentures and Implants.
Robert, go for more.
Hey. Hurt in the car wreck? Don't go up against the insurance company alone. Let the heavy hitters do it for you. Call 800-LAW-0804 and we'll go after all the money they should be paying you. Stay out of the courtroom and get into the end zone.
Call the heavy hitters. We're attorneys Tatum and Atkinson.
Call the heavy hitters. They'll work to get you more. 1-800-LAW-0804.
Have you been quoted for trench drain system to fix water intrusion? Before you compromise your foundation, talk to Foundation Solutions. We provide a more efficient, more cost-effective way to keep your basement dry. With 30 years of experience in Western North Carolina, we bring guaranteed work, financing options, and real peace of mind. Visit foundationswnc.com or call 828-768-2208.
Final 12 minutes of the Class A football season. And the Old North State, what a night it has become. Afternoon giving way to evening, and Robbinsville still clinging to that slim advantage of the two-point conversion after the TD run by Collins. A two-point conversion run by Collins, and following a first down run just a moment ago by Collins, they have the football right on that North Carolina logo here in Chapel Hill to start the fourth. They will keep it on the ground. And Collins with yet another run. We saw the Robbinsville QB just a moment ago. Slow in his movement off the field. Madison's been right there. What do you see, Madison?
Well, he's definitely not at 100%, a cramp in his calf muscle, and he's been dealing with that for the majority of this second half. He's been with the training staff drinking pickle juice, which he did not like the taste of, by the way, Gatorade, and just really working to get it stretched out, but definitely bothering him still, guys.
Well, Luke Lovin's not alone in that category, Eric. That's not a favorite of many. Thanks so much, Madison. But he's out there soldiering on through for his team in their pursuit of title number 15 as they try and carry that back to Graham County, back to Robbinsville. You know, haven't really talked about it or expounded upon it that much. He knows it as good as anybody. Coach Ford, who grew up there, has continued to pass the torch and extend and expand the culture there. But it is a championship-winning culture there in Robbinsville.
It certainly is. And I was talking to the parents of Samuel Wachacha earlier, number 1 there. And his granddad won 2 state championships in '73 and '74. His dad won in '92. His brother won in '14, and he's trying to get one here in 2025. So it is indeed a family affair.
From one generation to the next. The football on the ground, and somehow he's got some Velcro or something going on down there, because just about every time the football's loose, it ends up in Inslee's hands, regardless of whether he's on offense or defense.
This kid is, man, it's worth it all for him. Look, he's right there on the spot. He sees the ball. He jumps down on it. He says, hey, Mom, look, I got another one. He's not playing. This young man is taking matters into his own hand. And he's, you know, he's across from one of the biggest players he's probably ever had to play against, in number 79, Reginald Holmes, who stands 6'3" and is 385 pounds. So hats off and kudos to Inslee.
And that's a snapshot, that sequence right there, of just how difficult every yard has been in this football game. A couple of teams that averaged up over 50 through the playoffs, but they're in a 10-yard fight now with 9:58 to settle the Class A state championship.
Storms can come up fast, and your roof is your home's first line of defense. Tip Top Roofing is fully licensed, insured, and trusted by homeowners, HOAs, and real estate professionals. From the smallest repairs to the largest residential replacements, we handle it all, including gutters and siding. As a CertainTeed Select Shingle Master, we offer up to 25 years of workmanship coverage and a lifetime materials warranty. Ask about our senior and veteran discounts and schedule your free inspection today at tiptoproofing.net.
Tonight's high-end zone views of the game are compliments of Cook Rentals. Now in 5 locations across North Carolina. Cook Rentals, renting the smart way to get things done.
Culminates in a 4th and 2 from the 43-yard line.
Oh, wow.
Ball goes to the turf. And they're going to blow this dead. They were calling that an incomplete pass originally there, it looked like, perhaps?
It appeared that it went backwards, JP. I'm not sure. I'd love to see the replay on that, but in any case.
I saw the same thing you saw, but
yeah.
Here we go. I think they saw his hand moving forward and called that an incomplete pass.
I mean, it went backwards. I don't understand how they didn't see that was a fumble. I mean, the ball went behind him. Clearly, it went behind him, and they blew it dead, which.
The Lovin he's going to end up in control of it, so nobody else there ending up with a football, but I'm with you. What I saw initially, the ball work its way backwards.
Yeah.
That's the old Brady play from ages ago.
In all accounts, in my book, that was a fumble.
Ends up being first down for Wilson Prep. They get the football nonetheless, so that's one of those times where even though the call doesn't necessarily go your way, it all works out. And here come the Tigers, 9 yards plus on the first carry of this drive. Can they get something going in the early stages of the 4th? Think about the journey for this group. This is the 3rd year that they've made the playoffs and gone a little deeper than that initial round. In 2022, they fell in the first round, made the 4th round in 23, and the regional final in 24 before reaching the state championship here in 2025. We often talk about progress and incremental progress and taking a step from one year to the next. His team in 4 years of existence has been the very definition of it.
And JP, for me, it starts with up front. With that offensive and defensive line. If you're going to build a team and build a championship team with that championship pedigree, it's got to start up front, and it seems like that's what he's done.
Plenty of credit to his coaching staff, too. He gives a great deal of credit. James West, Anthony Edwards, Leon Parker, Ricky Stanley, the group that he's put together to help bring this Wilson Prep group here. And he's the only head coach that one of the newer schools in North Carolina has ever known. But that first round, 4th round, regional final, now state championship in the 4 years of existence. This is well handled by Robbinsville.
Yeah. Once again, is that pursuit, JP. They follow, they get to the ball. And it's an easy read when you have, just that flow. And keep in mind, I think they're going to take advantage of this. They're going to have to with a throwback or bootleg or something like that. When all the flow is going one way, from a defensive perspective, you are going to tear towards that football and attack it.
Keep in mind, there's a young man who lives in the home of the head coach of Wilson Prep. He's a leading receiver. He was lined up down near the bottom of your screen, but timeout's going to be taken before a play can be run his direction or any other direction for that matter. Everything stops with 8:08 to go. Well, we talked about Wilson Prep off to a very slow start, particularly in those first 6 games. For more on that stretch and how it grew this team and developed it, let's check in with Madison.
Well, guys, Coach Dickens told me that he took heat for that stretch of time, even from people inside of the Wilson Prep community, but he knew exactly what he was doing, preparing his team for this moment and for the adversity they would go through. His message all year has been, we have to see the end at the beginning, and this group bought into that. They believed in that. They believed in each other, and Coach feels that why came into this one ready.
Well, they've reeled off 7 since, Madison. It's hard to argue with what he had to say. And Eric, nothing like being battle tested, particularly when you face moments like this, needing to come from behind in the 4th quarter of the state title game. 3rd down for Wilson Prep, lunging across the 40. He's down to the 39. It's going to be 4th and about 3.
Yeah, and part of doing that, JP, is there's no panic. So when you're in this situation now, you're not going to panic. You don't see any panic from them. You just see a slow, methodical beating of that same drum. There's Usher once again, and I'm sure he's going to get it again and try and get these 2 or 3 yards to get that first down.
Usher, everybody in the building knowing he would have it.
Yep.
Everybody for Robbinsville plugging the holes to keep him from falling forward. He is turned aside, and Wilson Prep is turned aside as Robbinsville has come up with yet another defensive
Did
stop.
I see number 54 at the bottom of that pile, JP? That young man right there, Inslee, is all over the place on both sides of the ball. He's coming out, he's getting up, pumping his chest. He's giving it all he's got.
He may have hit the ground, then found the ball carrier's legs.
Right.
Wrapped him up and put a nice bow on top as it is first down Robbinsville. Knights coming away with yet another defensive stop, yet another fourth down turn aside. How many times has a Wilson Prep drive ended in Robbinsville territory on a turnover on downs? At the latest outcome. And now the Knights with designs on title number 15. Go to work from inside their own territory with 7.5 to play.
Yep, that was Luke Green just on an ISO up the middle, led by big Isaac Collins. You know, and I'm sure we're going to get a steady dose as we see while he's a warrior. Loving there, just kind of letting him favor that I guess that leg that you know he keeps getting the cramp in, but he's not coming out of the game. JP.
7 minutes to go in an old school defensive struggle here in the Old North State. Happy you've joined us here in Chapel Hill for our broadcast of the state championship contest. Robbinsville moves the chains. Here is the Tatum and Atkinson first down run. It's the hero of the night thus far, Collins, who gets it done.
That's right. Big fella's stumbling, bumbling, rumbling, as Chris Berman likes to say. Just a dive off the just off the tackle there. Enough for the first down.
Remember, Robbinsville doing this almost for the entirety of this contest without Kaizek Tisateski.
Yeah.
He went out very early. For those of you who maybe are just joining us and you say, wait a minute, I wanted to see number 5. Where's that premier back? It's been dose after dose of 7. It's been the surrounding cast. Guys like the one you're seeing here, Cameron Allison, who have filled in the gaps because they lost their premier playmaker after providing what at the time was the biggest play in the football game.
Yeah.
He was gone, has not been back, yet this group has rallied like the family that Coach Ford said they are, and now they're trying to put themselves in a position to salt away what would be the latest title.
Yeah, on that last play, that last tackle, though, we saw Nelson, number 4 for Wilson Prep, kind of get up kind of slow, favoring one shoulder or his hand, but he was telling the ref, no, I'm good. I'm not coming out of this.
Not now.
He's like, not now. He said, I can rest tonight after this. Got 5.5 minutes, but he's going to give it all he's got.
First ever meeting between these two. Key third down coming your way. And the Tigers stand tall, make it fourth down and a long 5. Well, we've talked about his impact offensively. Look who steps up and makes a play defensively.
Yeah. And it looks like that last play that Robbinsville tried to catch Wilson Prep with 12 men on the field. I guess the big fella got off in time, but the coaches were standing there saying, hey, wait a minute. We caught him.
Wilson Prep set to get the football back with under 5 to play. Still down just 2. Here's a little trickery. There will be no kick. There will be no trick. That was snuffed out quickly. How about the pursuit to get the job done by Perry here?
By Perry, you gotta love it. And, you know, pulling out all stops, big play on special teams. Look at the speed. Look at the pursuit. Just as Robbinsville thought they had him, he ran him down from the backside. That young man is excited.
Big 5-0, not fooled, and it is Wilson Prep football at the 49-yard line.
How big was that play, JP? How big was that?
I think that's called a turnover on downs.
That's right.
We've seen that more than once on both sides along the way in this one. It has been one of the familiar refrains, as has smothering defense. Which offense will break through? Well, here is Usher, far side, and he's out of bounds at the 36. There's Wilson Prep on the move again. A little slow to get up this time is Usher. That's always concerning.
That's right. Once again, the drop back and that spread, but it looks like it was designed run from the beginning. Not sure what he was trying to hurdle or jump or whatever, but good job by that young fella. Good tackle by number 21.
The lone touchdown tonight, as you see Usher's vitals, after the Tatum and Atkinson first down. The heavy hitters, he certainly took one there. First down play, and we'll get back to that thought. Usher looking downfield, and that's going to one-hop his intended target incomplete. Was just about to say, the lone touchdown tonight for Wilson Prep, at the time broke a scoreless tie, was a 4th down and goal from the 14-yard line, in which they found Vines in the corner of the end zone. Can they add something further here with 4 and change to play? For teams that have been so prolific offensively throughout the year, throughout these playoff runs, stingy defenses have ruled the Class A environment. And that's, again, sent in the direction of Brandon Bruno, but once more incomplete.
Yeah, and the reads are there, JP. Remember at the top of the broadcast we talked about they've only thrown 71 passes for the entire year, but they're going to have to mix some of that in now. The receivers are open, they're just not accustomed to it. And you see the heaving of Usher right now. He's on the sideline, he's tired. And when you're not accustomed to throwing, but you're having to throw, man, it takes a toll on you. And just the timing and everything with the routes as well is throwing them off a little bit. But once again, kudos to the coaching staff. They're mixing it up.
Sense of urgency certainly there. And you can sense it. Trying to find some room, make 4th down manageable. Ethan Nelson, positive gain, but he is met by 76. Daniels was right where he needed to be.
Yeah, 6'5", 260, young fella. He kept his feet moving, pursued the football, and everybody's rallying to the football, JP. And for both of these teams, both defenses are sprinting to the ball and rallying there. And that's going to be the difference in the game right here. This 4th down, what's going to happen? You know, they've been running the spread, which takes more people out of the box, which opens up those running lanes more. But when fatigue sets in,
Dane Daniels steps up, stops the 3rd down play. Wilson Prep will call timeout ahead of the 4th down play. Consequential moment in the football game. Maybe the decisive moment in the football game. Coming up on the other side of this break.
White is out of timeout.
In a first ever trip to the state championship, Wilson Prep trails by a 2-point conversion. The Tigers just burned their final timeout with 3:27 to play. That speaks to the importance of this 4th down. You need the 26 to move the chains. Here's pressure, able to get away and make it past the marker to keep hope and the drive alive when you need your playmakers. Here is young Mr. Usher.
There you go, JP, getting that empty set, right? It takes all the defenders out of the box, and you're left with him. And they had him there dead to rights, but they just couldn't make the tackle. And, yep, he rumbles for that first down. Breaks a couple of tackles along the way.
Trayvon Usher keeps hope alive. He places them in the Air Experts Heating and Cooling red zone with this first down run. The Air Experts Heating and Cooling red zone opportunity of the night for Wilson Prep. Schedule your tune-up. You can do it today at airexperts.com. Can they come away with a decisive drive? Toss, incomplete.
Wow.
Well, the reaction of the receiver tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah, hit him right in the hands, JP. Got to make those plays in a game like, in a game like this where scoring is a premium. Hit him right in the chest.
Taquan Whitaker, who's made some great plays tonight. You said it. The passing moments, they've been there for the Tigers. And aside from the touchdown in the corner, on 4th and goal from the 14, the connections have been somewhat hard to come by. 3:12 to go here. Again, no timeouts. So this is the drive right now for Wilson Prep.
There you go.
Usher sees all kind of open real estate far side. He gets to the 5 and is tripped up at the 3-yard line.
Yep, by Collins and JP. They started to figure it out. Run empty set. Get those extra defenders out of the box. Force them to cover, and you're going to have green grass in front of you. Good tackle by Collins.
What an open field tackle by the guy who has been the offensive hero tonight for Robbinsville, who, if they can hold Wilson Prep out of the end zone, may be one of the defensive heroes as well. A Tatum and Atkinson first down inside the 5. Inside 3 minutes to play.
Yeah, and see now JP.
Too many bodies stacked up in the middle.
Yeah, sorry about that. And when they run that power set, everybody's in the box. And so you're trying to, fit that square peg into a round hole, and it's just not working. You keep them spread out, and that's going to get you in the end zone.
Harder and harder to do the closer you get to that goal line.
That's right.
2:22 and ticking downward to go.
That's right, but you still have to respect them. That's why you line them up out there. You have to, respect from a defensive perspective. You got to cover them. But now you got 11 men in the box right there, so it's either going to be that the power left or power right.
Lunging forward. Just about the 3-yard line is all. Third down coming. Tried a little bit of a different wrinkle with the ball carrier now down. And boy, what a tough young man he has proven to be in this one tonight. Took another big-time lick here as he lunged toward the goal line.
Oh, yeah, that's and he was suspended in the air right there and, not called down yet. And, he took a couple of shots from that Robbinsville defense. But, once again, that's a pursuit. Look, I love looking at the exasperation on his face. He's like, oh, Coach, I'm tired. But, hey, this is what it's all about right here. Look at how exhausted he is. But he's got to give it his all. He's got a minute and a half to go for a state championship.
That is the end of a long, long journey.
Yeah.
And you don't yet know what the final chapter.
That's right.
And the final outcome is going to be. It's a journey that goes well beyond the state playoffs or a full football season. It's the journey of a lifetime. And right now, it hinges on a 3rd down and goal for Wilson Prep with 95 seconds remaining in the football game.
Once again, that same power set, JP, is only a certain amount of things you can do there.
Time and again, it's been Usher. It's Nelson lined up in the prime spot here. Nelson through traffic. Powell trying to push him forward down to the 1-yard line. Fittingly, 4th and goal. And now Nelson a little slow to his feet.
Yeah, that's weight room right there, JP. So once again, this looks like it's a counter. They're trying to outnumber you at the point of attack. And, just getting downhill. And that's the defense bending but not breaking. Number 42 right there. Waldrop is in the bottom of that pile. And so here we go, JP.
4th and goal 45 seconds to play. It certainly seems for the state championship.
They got to go. 3 seconds on the play clock, JP. They may not get it off.
And no timeouts.
That was huge.
And a flag that will back Wilson Prep up just a bit further.
Wow, JP, that was huge. Yeah, the play clock was running down. They've been having those issues all game.
Delay of game. Offense.
Remember, the Tigers used their final timeout to set up the 4th down conversion earlier on this drive. They need a 4th down conversion here. A team that's only score in the football game came on 4th and goal from the 14. Has its state championship hopes hinge on 4th and goal from just outside the 5.
And they're going to try a field goal, JP. First thing we've seen all game of them attempting a field goal with 10 seconds to go.
A team that didn't even try the extra point after they scored, went straight to the 2-point conversion.
It looks like the clock is going to run down on them again.
Well, they bring the clock to a halt here.
Delay a game.
For another delay penalty.
Good ball. Delay of game. Offense.
That's going to make the field goal, if it is to be kicked, a little tougher. It's Nelson back there looking if he's going to be the individual to try to punch it through, and this would be a 27-yarder.
Oh, wow. It was good.
He puts it through with 20 seconds to play, giving Wilson Prep an improbable 4th quarter lead.
Who would have thought, JP? They're on the 1-yard line. Wow.
That may be the one thing that a half minute ago, no one in the state of North Carolina had in mind. Take a look at the threading of the needle by Ethan Nelson. And he was wheeling it home for a 9-8 advantage.
That's outstanding. Hey, big-time moments require big-time players to step up and make those big plays. And he stepped up and he did it, JP. Hats off to the young man.
It appeared as if there was one potential path for that football to make it airborne and through the uprights. Nelson and Wilson Prep found it, and the Tigers lead by 1 with 20 seconds to play. 4th downs, and number 4, getting it done in year number 4.
There you go.
In the history of the program. Will they translate into title number 1?
That was amazing. After 2 delay of game, no timeouts. They can't stop the clock. It's almost like they didn't know what was going on, who's kicking, who's doing what, and he steps right up, puts it through the uprights.
At the end of the day, they were unfazed.
Once again, you play those hard schedules for moments like this, right? There was no panic on them. They just backed up and kicked the ball.
Here comes the Original Grills kickoff. Elevate your grill game at Original Grills. Well, you can't just yet say what a thrilling finish because 20 precious seconds remain on the game clock. At least for now, what a thrilling moment. Wilson Prep back out front on a 27-yard field goal with 20 seconds to play. Return is to the 30. And Robbinsville will have about 14 seconds to draw up a miracle here if this is going to be the season in which title number 15 makes its way back to Robbinsville. After scoring and going for 2 in the latter stages of the first half, Robbinsville had led until 20 seconds to play. And that is picked off, and that'll seal it. Intercepted by who else but a young man named Dickens.
Manny
Manny Dickens, the son of the head coach, the only head coach this Wilson Prep team has ever known. Just sealed for the Tigers a first championship in school history.
Congratulations to that young fella. It's almost like he's throwing to a spot. You're loving just maybe anticipating it, and a drop being out of bounds, you still get another play, but Manny was Johnny on the spot.
It will, in fact, be a Dickens of a Christmas for Wilson Prep. The play call on the 4th down to go with the field goal, the play call earlier on the 4th down and goal from the 14 that put the first points in school history in a championship environment on the board, and the final play by the young man who shares his home. And Wilson Prep's Tigers has claimed the first championship in the Old North State of 2025, and the school's first, as they reign supreme in Class A in North Carolina. What a thrilling, we can now say it, what a thrilling finish to this football.
That's exactly right, JP. Man, we started off this championship weekend in a phenomenal fashion. Defense ruled today, and who would have thought a field goal would be the difference.
Only one of the contest.
That's right.
And it ends up being the difference maker. Well, two teams that averaged 50 points plus all throughout the championship tournament. Held to single digits. And this was Ethan Nelson's kick, a 27-yarder for 4 on a day when 4th downs and number 4 stood tall. That made it 9-8 with 20 seconds to play, and it stands as our play of the game. And boy, what a just a tremendous, tremendous play call and execution. It was the moment where the initial crown for Wilson Prep was claimed. Let's go down to the field and hear from the notorious head coach of the Tigers.
Well, Coach, in your 4th year as a football program, you bring home the state title. What does that mean to this school?
Well, it means a lot. It's big. We're the first charter school to ever win a state championship, so we're going down in history. Hey, my son, Manny Dickens, last game, Trayvon Usher, Ethan Nelson, those guys stuck it out with me. I wanted to send them out with a state championship, and we got it. We got it.
Well, you won that on a field goal after 2 delay of games. What was your reaction during that moment?
Hey, that is our first field goal all season. We ain't tried to line up in a field goal or extra point all season, but their defense, I got to give it to them. They're a heck of a team defensively. And Ethan Nelson has been my guy, and we rode him, and I just thank God. God was with us the whole trip from the beginning of Clayton all the way here. So it's just a blessing.
And then that final play, your son, Manny Dickens, in his last game with you as his coach, sealed the deal. What did that mean to you?
Well, it meant a lot because Manny came off an injury right after the season. We had surgery, and he hadn't played a lot. He accepted his role. You know, you got a son that you're not even playing a lot. It was just big, but that's why we gave him the sportsmanship award, because his thing always was, Daddy, we just want to win. I don't care how we do it. And that unselfishness, that's what I've taught since he was a little baby.
Well, congratulations, Coach.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Back to you guys.
He said the whole journey had been a blessing coming into the week. Can you imagine how grateful he and the Tigers are for the journey to a Class A state championship? What a time for the first field goal of the year. It translated into the first title in school history. Here is our player of the game. You might have suspected he set it all up with his valiant effort. Trayvon Usher is the player.
Yeah, he was a workhorse, JP, from beginning to end on both sides of the ball. And you could see it that one time when he had the close-up and he just had an exhausted look on his face. He's been running, tackling. He's been doing everything, and it gets his team a state championship.
Well, here was the points that put him on the board. First touchdown in school history. That toss on 4th and goal from the 14. Trayvon Usher, our affordable dentures and implants player of the game. So much to unpack and put a bow on in this one. We'll come back and do it, as well as the trophy presentation, and you return to Chapel Hill on the other side of the break. Wilson Prep snatches away the title with 20 seconds to play. First charter school to claim a North Carolina state championship, Wilson Prep claiming the school's first ever state title in football. And you think about everything that was wrapped into this one, Eric Gash. First field goal of the year. First time held in single digits anywhere along the journey. All the fourth downs they had to convert, the fourth and goal from the 14. The fourth down where they used their final timeout on the drive that ended up ending on the fourth down kick by number 4 to get the job done. It just was a tremendous, tremendous experience all the way around. Robbinsville will get number 15 at some point. This is a place built for titles. 15 is coming. They were on the verge of it here. Another tremendous season for Robbinsville.
Certainly was. Congratulations. Hats off to them. Great community, great folks there. They live, eat, breathe, and sleep football. That's what they dream about when they come up. You know, as kids, they're playing out in the field. But congratulations to Wilson Prep. They came in with a bunch of firsts. First time here, first field goal, right? First touchdown, all of the firsts that happened. And what I love about both teams is they never panicked. You know, they maintained composure and they kept pushing. And Wilson Prep, first time you're ever kicking a field goal is in the state championship, JP. You get 2 delay of game penalties, it backs you up 10 yards, and you still step up and kick it. Man, hats off to them.
What do we love about football? You cannot script it.
That's right.
You cannot script it. Again, congratulations on an outstanding season for Robbinsville. First year under a new head coach, but a guy who knows the community through and through. They will no doubt be back, and this is a team worth remembering. But tonight belongs to Wilson Prep and to this young man who stepped right up, found a window, and punched it through for a state championship.
Awesome. Congrats to that young fella.
Well, that'll do it for our coverage. First of 8 of them you will see across the Sinclair family of networks this weekend. You got 8 games coming your way across the next 3 days in 3 different environments. Don't miss it. If this one's any indication, the bar is set incredibly high. Congratulations to the Tigers of Wilson Prep in their 4th year of existence, a first championship in school history. For our entire crew, including Madison down on the field, Eric up here in the booth, Jason Patterson saying thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. Look forward to having you with us the remainder of the weekend as we document the state championships in the Old North State across the next 3 days. That's what's next. Don't miss it. An 8 o'clock kick coming and much more on the football front. Here's the kick that made the Tigers of Wilson Prep 2025 Class A champs.
They were real early mornings and late nights.